Hi.
Hello. Doctor.
Doctor. The only guy with the doctor isn't here. Like it's.
How are we doing?
Exhausted, man.
I'm fine.
I'm still tired.
I'm well rested.
I don't have school tomorrow. I usually
We're out of school.
Nice. I don't have school either, but that's depressing. So
and then to work, but
good point.
So how do you guys want to kick this shindig? We're going to throw out some sponsors. Do we want to tell people what they're watching?
Do the things. Yeah, do the stuff.
Things.
Yeah.
Well,
Podfather, you want to take it away?
Yeah, this is the NPR side of it. We don't have any sponsors.
We're cool like that.
Our lonely network over here. We can't compete with the THP. We're just we're on for the ride. But we're going to talk about the awesome Texas trip that we had with you guys, and man, it was quite a blast. And so you take it away, Justin.
You don't have a Noah's Arcade, like
no, we just have ourselves.
If you're listening to this for the THP side of things, which you should be listening to it for both, this show is brought to you by Steve Snakesberry and his Venom Hot Sauce, which is very delicious, and MP Cages and Exotics. So if you need a rack, you need a cage, you need to hit up Sean. He is on the East Coast now, I believe, full time. So that's great for us because we can just jet down and get our stuff from him when we need it. And so. What are you smoking, Phil?
I'm smoking the Neanderthal that you gave me in Texas.
I forgot I gave you that.
You did. It is most enjoyable. What are you smoking?
I'm taking a ride on the bull. The Andalusian bull.
Andalusian bull.
Could have sent some back with the Hobbit. I'm just going to throw that out there once. Say that I'm mildly disappointed.
The Hobbit couldn't handle it, man. I got high as hell.
You don't got to smoke it. You're just going to bring it back to me.
Well, I'll throw Eric under the bus because I think Smitty and I both brought like 30 sticks each, assuming we were going to just smoke them all. Now
I was not expecting to come back with any.
Right now, I did give Herr Burke something to give you, and I told him, I said, "Listen, if you like it, just keep it."
I just kept it.
Fuck.
So now
I got it for you, Alan.
Now you have a reason. You have a reason to go to his house.
I already told you, it's a well-known fact that I go to his house for like a quick minute, and then it's like it's been 4 hours. I should probably leave. So yeah.
I mean, that's like a phone call with me and Billy Hunt. Like he'll call me for 20 seconds, and it turns into a 2-hour affair.
Of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
So
speaking of, I just got that Collignathus in today that's supposed to go to Billy, and he can keep that damn thing because it's the freaking devil.
That's fantastic.
That's sort of the thing, man.
Yeah, that happens.
No thanks. I'll stick with Ganya Soma.
All right. So several people on this call went to Texas. I didn't. How was it?
It was hot.
Good point. And end of the show. So it's pretty much all it was. So yeah, sounds like a freaking blast. And I could definitely tell from the pictures you guys were crushing it. So clearly I am the bad luck charm for Texas. So
I wouldn't go that far. I think it was timing.
I would right now.
I think it, like when we went, Rob, we were only there for 3 days. We had herping 3-4 days the last time we went, so.
100%. I mean, that's the crazy bit to me out of the last trip. It was so successful. It was kind of similarly successful per night, but we only had really 3 nights that we were there, and the kind of 3.5 because we had showed up at 1 a.m. or something in Sanderson that first night. So kind of 3.5 or whatever, and kind of similar success per night. But no joke, Owen. You going in September, it turns out it's a lot less hot. Particularly down by the river. I'll tell you, man, we were out there, and it's not, shoot, in Colorado now it's 100 degrees, so it doesn't feel all that different to me. But I guess I got prepped for it with Texas because when we were down in Big Bend, both the national and state parks, it was in the mid, single digit hundreds. So it was 105 to 110 in that range. And the funny thing to me is just when we were in the state park, right? And it wasn't until after midnight that it got below 100. I mean, that's pretty wacky. You know, the regular heat and stuff. I mean, it's regularly that hot in Phoenix and Las Vegas and all this stuff. But man, to not get below 100 until after midnight, you're doing something different. So it was all good, you know. But yeah, you know, Bill and Eric didn't make the top of the Lost Mine like last time.
We were talking about that, yeah, and how
turns out if it's 20 degrees warmer, it's a lot harder.
Well, we were talking about how you did the whole like it's just a little bit further, and it was like 300. It was not, so it was just like
it's 2 miles, and you look at the map, it's 6. You know.
So I had a little bit of like what pushed me. I think I made it like 3/4 of the way up, maybe almost all the way up.
Yeah,
I was just under that
3/4 to 80%, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So my legs would not physically move. Like I was telling Justin, I was like, my legs are like tingling. Like I have no feeling left. I don't know.
I kept telling Rob that, and he kept telling me to keep going. He said, "Don't stop, bitch.
Just keep moving. It's fine."
Well, we're trying to knock off podcasts, so we figured kill you on the mountain, and then we'll eventually get Phil a different way somewhere else. So, but both survived.
Well, somebody sent Doc the link because he just texted me saying, I didn't know I was invited.
What?
Yeah.
Just text him to go in the chat. It's in there.
Was he tagged on everything? Yeah. I thought he was tagged on everything. I'm here.
Well, he was tagging me in pictures.
He's got it. He's all right. He's all right.
So the fun thing about that hike up the mountain was that as me and Justin were walking up, so it was me and Justin. So it was kind of broken up into groups, right? It was Justin Smith and Rob, and Rob kept pushing Justin. And don't let Rob don't he's like the secret assassin, man. Like this little guy is like running up the hill like he's some kind of like, you know, like
his endurance is insane. They go to people go to high altitudes to train. Rob lives there. So like he will energize or bunny you to death where he'll just keep going and you're like clearly like, you know, and it frustrates you when the short people pass you on a trail. So you have to keep going. So it's
Dude, there was like a 70-year-old woman at the top.
yes, I was gonna say
made
that.
She was like my inspiration
because she kept passing me, and I was like, "Damn it,
God, I hate you!"
Like I have to keep going.
No, but it was her hiking poles that was making all the difference.
That was it right there. If you guys had hiking poles.
I couldn't figure out if it was the heat. I couldn't figure it out if it was the fact that going into the last trip, I had been hiking and working out and whatnot. So I was a little more prepared and a little off guard with this one, but I kept going. And then eventually I told Justin Julian there, I was like, dude, I don't think I can go any higher. And, we're walking and he hears this scuttle in the brush, and he looks and he's like, what is it? What is it? And here it turns out that it's a black bear mom and her cub, and it does a little bluff charge to him like, argh. And as Owen will tell you, the one thing that scares me about being in the woods is bears. I don't know what it is, but
Eric's one fear. Bear.
But black bears are like the alligators of the bear world. It's like, are they saltwaters? No, but they have killed people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
She was totally fine. I must have gone by her 3 or 4 times because I was running up to Smitty that it wasn't that far, and then I'd come back to him, and then I go back up with him.
Yeah, Rob wasn't a threat.
If we would,
he was probably afraid that she was going to drag him up the damn mountain.
Yeah.
Well, what I think is
with me.
What I think is hilarious is that I know myself, and I'm obviously out of shape. I'm a smoker. It's high altitude. I get it. I was like, you know what? The view is outstanding where I'm at right now. I'm just going to hang back.
Good ear.
Like I've hiked higher. You know what I mean? But this trip with the heat and everything, I was like, I'm just going to hang out. So I got this old dead log. I'm sitting on the log. I'm just enjoying the view. And I mean, these guys can tell you I fall asleep sitting straight up, So I'm basically just like sitting there sleeping like this. and like all I hear is the breeze, maybe some cicadas, and all of a sudden I hear somebody up on the hill. No, it's a bear. Yeah, that's a bear. And I was just like, I should probably wake up now.
I should probably pay attention to what's going on here.
So the funny part was, it's like, so me and there he is.
Hey.
So me and Justin are, we are like, he goes, so I like start backing away. Like I'm trying to remember, do I run? Do I this? Do I that? Put my hands up in the air and I'm still not big enough, you know? I'm like waving around like this and it's still not big enough, you know? And Justin goes to warn their two girls. I think they were the granddaughters of the 70-year-old lady that was hiking, you know, outpacing all of us. And he goes to warn them. And then we go up around the ridge again. And then there's these two guys that are coming up. And I'm just watching and I'm like, I'm about to watch two people be mauled by a black bear. It's going to happen right in front of my eyes. And we're yelling,
yes,
bear. But yeah, you know, the funny thing is like, I always try to take something away from it, right? And I kept thinking, like, you know how we get all upset about how people portray reptiles as these animals that'll come and get you and attack you and all this stuff. And if you leave them alone, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to bother you at all. And my whole impression of bears is from watching like TV shows that are like, what's it say? Grace. It's like, yeah, that's about right.
SWAT. Like, yeah.
But my impression of bears were like when bears attack, you know, like that kind of thing. And you know, it wasn't like that at all. So, you know, I feel better about bears now. So
well, thank God Justin was there, who actually like knew what to do and like saved you, because that's pretty much what I'm going to peg it as. So yeah,
Justin there to provoke it. You mean? Yes.
Oh yeah.
I was poking the bear. I was taking pictures. Good. It was like huffing at me and stomping, trying to get a fun reaction out of that
thing. Justin's going to get us all killed. So
yes.
That sounds like a pretty badass start. I mean, bears were not on the list for herping, but
it made cool that climb worth it.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. I didn't do all this for nothing.
Who had the picture of the bears? Because I'm trying to find the picture to post.
I had a video of it when they passed me.
Did you send it to me or no?
I don't know that it's in that folder.
Okay. All right. Never mind.
It should be. No, it should be.
Okay.
Google Drive folder I sent you, but.
That's cool. You got video of them running by you, huh? All night.
Yeah, like I passed them, so I was walking by, and there was like in between the fingers, there's that sort of divot between the the downward slopes, and like I was walking by, and there was a little opening, and she was just right there staring at me, like probably 15 yards away or so, and I didn't even stop. I just like side-eyed her and kept walking, and got a couple of yards ahead of that, and then her and the cub just went up and continued to cross. But she got to that pass. She saw me. She stopped. She looked at me for a second. And I was like, you're all right. You're all right. I wasn't talking to the bear. I was talking to me. And then the bear and the cub continued. They just went right up that hill like it was nothing, man. Like it was like a leisurely thing for them. It was crazy. That
bears are showing you up. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
They got just training too, man. No worries.
As harsh as that terrain is, it's just surprising that something that size is completely content, dealing with that on a daily basis. And
yeah.
And then it's completely like hidden. Like I heard a slight rustle. I thought, oh, maybe it's a squirrel, and no, it was a bear and a cub. That's crazy.
It's larger than a squirrel. Yeah,
right next to the trail, and you don't even notice them.
Seeing them, I was like, that seems a lot bigger than the ones that I've seen at the zoo, even though it's probably the same size, if not a little smaller.
Well, and that's the thing, because I remember that sign when you walk into that place, it says beware of mountain lions and bears. And I'm like, because like
Turns
you see
you
those.
Need to read these signs, man, between the cassowaries and now bears and stuff. Like, I need to start paying more attention to that. I always just take this kind of a joke.
When would we learn the lesson to read signs? Like it is.
We didn't read the cassowary signs. That came back on
didn't
us.
take serious.
No, I read it and just thought it was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, they see one like once a year, no big deal.
Yeah, always happen to be when you're there. Yeah.
Yep. But then I was on my way down to go back to the car and stuff, and that's when I passed her, and then I see Eric and Bob Rock and Julander walking. Like I look up and I can see them walking a couple switchbacks behind me and whatnot. So I yell up there like, "Hey, she's heading your way." And apparently that message didn't get through because they came down the hill and they're like, "Did you say something about a bear?"
Yes,
I heard you say that, but I couldn't see her. I couldn't figure out where you were talking about.
I was just letting you know that she was heading your direction.
Yeah, we kept an eye out, but she was not visible from where we were, I guess.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are actually
from when we went with Owen. When we went with Owen, Roadrunners kept popping out at us.
Yeah.
And this time it was a bear.
Bear. Yeah. See, again, you leave me at home, and therefore all the large predators come to eat Eric. So, just saying, my main purpose is to scare away large predators and birds so that they don't eat Eric.
Nothing.
I was ready to throw my body in front of the bear to save the podfather, though.
That would have been a worthy sacrifice.
That was like a running joke the entire week of we were all Secret Service and we have to jump in front of anything that tries to attack the podfather.
That means
a bullet for him.
The price of this would have gone up if you had done that. I mean, like I would have been like, oh yeah. Oh, what the hell?
We did see we saw an elusive Sasquatch.
That is
we saw
when was this decided that it was going to happen? I'm guessing day one.
Well, there was we tried to take a group photo, but we could take the group photo and not have one of us hold the camera. So this Sasquatch came out of nowhere and held the camera for us.
Yeah,
so.
good. That's good. That's good.
I showed you the footprint. You didn't believe me. Well,
that's a bear. No, shut up.
So we jumped ahead a day in the story, by the way.
Oh,
you did?
Okay.
I can't.
Yeah, I mean that was day 2, was it not?
I don't know.
Rob?
It was the longest day of the week, I can tell you that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, nice. So I mean, the first day was driving, San Antonio pickup. Eric wound up being the last one, and so we were making fun of him for picking up flight where he was the last one. We're sitting around waiting on him, in the airport parking lot. Phil getting into problematic interactions with the locals, all this stuff, so it's all good. But
it's good.
Wait,
it's good.
That happened that quickly? I mean,
oh yeah, essentially instantly.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that. What happened?
With what? With the car?
Just his interactions in the gas station and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't.
Is a carrot cut? A cut of Phil's jib didn't quite go over necessarily, in terms of how that was going, but it's all good. And then we were driving over, went through on 90 through Sanderson and stuff, and checked that stuff out. And the difficulty, I think, over there once you get past Dryden is that there's just so many cuts, and all that the appeal to stop is really high, even though it's like no, we got to keep going. And everybody's like, no, but there's a cut right here, and it's like, yeah, but that's how we're, the whole deal. So we just wind up doing that for a while, and we stayed in Sanderson that first night, so that was pretty good. We had booked it, and then sadly the reservation hadn't worked. What are we watching? Oh, this is Kickapoo on the way.
Night.
Right. Oh yeah, I forgot. Well, I forgot for Justin's sake, we stopped at the Del Rio Chili's, which was
the worst Chili's
in all
experience
honesty, the worst service I've had at a Chili's in my life.
I said, don't judge the chain and my love for them just on this one stop.
Well, I mean,
that was the catalyst. That was the catalyst for bad service of food the entire trip.
Oh, 100%. It was horrific.
Texas.
And then I felt embarrassed that I hyped it up so much.
Texas seems to have this issue with getting your food together in one, if you order eggs and bacon, you should get the eggs and bacon together, not eggs and then 20 minutes
later. It's a 4-course meal in one
order.
You have
even if we give them 5 minutes, whatever, no worries.
It's a marathon, slow. It's this course and then the next course and then the next course, or you can have it all in one burrito. So those are your choices, either 5 minutes apart or in a tortilla.
Right.
And then street corn 45 minutes later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, as you're literally paying the bill.
Oh, by the way,
I forgot that it was even coming. I was already stuffed. I was like, crap, man.
Shoot.
Yeah, that was something. And what it took, shoot.
Why are we doing
maybe a half-hour turnaround? And it was we were there for an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Are you guys? Are you guys products for Fuji? What the hell is this? Like, are we running advertisements for food PG?
Oh, and if you listen to THP, you know.
Shots fired.
Shit. I didn't know he had to come to fight. All right. Well, my apologies.
I was you'll relate to this, Owen, as being an East Coaster, right? It was exciting. You remember how different it looked when we got to Texas and how the landscape is so different than what we're used to.
Yeah,
it was exciting to see Phil so excited about stuff because he lives in Florida and everything is flat.
So the rock.
Oh my God, the terrain is sloping upward. It's like, yeah, it's okay, Phil. Yeah, they do that.
But
it's awesome, man.
I think an exciting part of herping is when you get excited for somebody else that's getting excited about something that you already saw.
100%.
Yeah. The fact that you guys are crushing it this show or this trip.
Yeah, so no, the first I guess stop really was the Kickapoo Caverns State Park, which is a really cool spot, and that is an indigo spot. Along that same hike that we had done, we'd gotten there right on a little before dusk, right? Which here, unlike Australia, especially Northern Australia, is like 8:39, something in that range. So we'd gotten there maybe at 7:45, and we'd gone out on the hike, gotten up to a ridge that was pretty good. Who was it? Schmitty and Julandria were thinking, "Oh, I'm just gonna, cut out a little bit ahead." I had to holler out and point out that, like, okay, cool. The only way, sure, if we go back the way we came, that's 2.5 miles. If you keep going the way you're going, you got 6.5, 7 in you. So,
like the mountain, I thought there was an end point. I thought we were walking towards something, and it turns out we were just on like a death march.
Yeah.
Listen,
dude,
every herping trip,
there's never a point that you're going. It's
always a death march, and Justin did that a couple times when we were out in Texas, where he just kept going, and Rob's like, "It's not a loop," and like he'd be way over there. I'm like, just let him go. He's happy. Look at him frolicking.
It is funny because Doc's definitely a wanderer. Like there was definitely 1 or 2 times that one of us was like Marco, and then like a second would go by, and be like, "Hello, all
right, he's still alive,
he's
still good."
I think I put in an extra, 15, 20 miles above what the other guys did.
You did,
yeah.
Overachiever. The only guy that grew up in the desert,
Yeah.
Heck, I even played the Call of Your People, and you didn't respond when we were on 3 Mile. That was a little disconcerting. I was a little worried at that point.
Yeah. You need to turn up the volume. You need a big boom box. Hold it over your head, John Cusack style.
There you go.
At the bottom of that walk, me and Julander were the first ones back to the car, and we got to play with some armadillos.
Which
was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I've never been so close to one. Like they didn't run away or nothing. They were just there.
They carry leprosy, so no touch.
Well, yeah, if you take a little leprosy on your herping trip, what are you doing?
Like, leave it alone. It has hair. Let's go.
Yeah. That was, Justin tried to stick his head into a little group of bats when we were in Texas the one time too. So, he just seems to find the critters and like, ooh, so, which is all right.
He was our lucky charm the entire trip. Like every time we found something really cool, it was because of Julander and his fresh eyes.
And his wanders. It's very good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You need that component on the deal. So
damn,
this is the this was the first one of the trip. So we left the caverns and all. It was a great time. Saw the armadillos and some jackrabbits and things. And then we're driving. We passed Dryden, and on the first cut that we stopped at, this wound up being one of the only snakes we actually saw legitimately on the cut, in the sense of that you see when people talk about West Texas, and it was this little night snake. So this was the first one of the trip. My camera naturally was acting up, so it took me 25 to 30 minutes to get it working, and I was sitting there going, I had 4 hours of driving, and but I didn't know it was going to be wrong. But I was happy with this picture and happy with that snake. Although, the first trip we saw one night snake. I got one picture I was really happy with, and then this wound up being the first of 8 or 9 night snakes that we saw.
Yeah. I really enjoyed finding those guys too. Like they're really cool. Being as into like Boiga and little rear fang stuff, they were really cool little snakes.
They are
100%.
Yeah. It was cool this trip. I kind of left the photographing to Rob and Justin, the doc. He had his camera as well, whereas like the rest of us were sort of doing cell phone pics. But I was doing a lot of like ground temp, ambient temp, the humidity, UV, all those kind of notes. So I guess as we go through, I didn't get the one on this though. On that first night, I didn't get any info on that, but the rest of them I have all that info. But
what the
rock
worked
out pretty well,
like,
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't take my camera. At the same time, I'm kind of bummed I didn't. But like lugging that around and stuff, especially on some of the walks we were doing, it's just it's better that I didn't.
I just had my zoom camera, so it was more like the feathered reptiles that I was looking for, or the
damn
fast
feathered reptiles.
Look at Dove.
Oh shit!
Dove.
Go about 90 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I didn't think about bringing black lights for scorpions. That's cool.
How many species did we find, Phil?
So we
Like
found,
4?
I think 5 in total, or no, 4 of the 5. Excuse me.
That's the Centroides vittatus. It's a Texas striped or Texas bark scorpion, striped bark scorpion.
Wow.
That was the most common one we saw, right?
Yeah. I took a shower with one when we were in Alpine.
Did you bring the scorpion with you, or
No,
okay.
so I was showering and I look up and there's a really nice fat female just chilling right up where like the tile for the shower actually meets like the drywall. So
yeah, they were pretty common and just sort of stumbling into them and all. I know Doc and I had seen one that it had the orange mites or whatever that are specific to them.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So I didn't even know this was a thing. Like I didn't even know that was a species.
The hell is legs?
So I threw this picture up first. This is a crappy cell phone picture I took, and I'll show Rob's exquisite photo next. But I just wanted people to see how small this thing was.
Yeah.
And there's a series of photos of this gecko, and everyone I show this gecko to, they're like, "Wow, that thing's like an American leopard gecko, right? Super cool." And then you see, hold on, now that I said that, I gotta switch screens. And now here's Rob's amazing photo.
You can see like the different cells that make up the scale. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's got that zoom.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Look how cool that is.
Hey, it reminds me a lot of the cave geckos, like the
Goniurosaurus. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So
yeah, and the funny bit, so Phil had found this one. This was on a later cut off the first one, but getting close to Sanderson at that kind of by the 5 Mile East stuff. But yeah, so Phil had found this one, and he'd gotten some photos and all, and then I was messing with it. By the time I was there, everybody was tired of it, so I just started playing with it. And the best bit to me is that it was doing the where they like leopard geckos do, where they press into your hand to kind of steal some of that heat off your body, getting that press, and it was doing the same thing. It was super cool, not flee. It seems like those Coleonyx really don't do that, based on the second one that we'd seen as well. That they love to do the press in, and they're not particularly flighty.
I don't know, man. I can't touch geckos. I pet too hard.
Well, you don't grab them;
they break. Yeah. I don't like animals that are designed to come apart. Like
that was the concern. Was like it kept doing the tail wave where it's like I'm gonna drop it, I'm gonna drop it, I'm gonna drop it. And I was like,
I feel bad. Yeah, I feel really really bad. So
yeah, but yeah.
Goddamn hippie with his hair and his gecko in the middle of Texas. Yeah. So that's those do look awesome. It almost makes you wonder if people would just start working on projects with those guys, but
there are folks that do them. It's just very uncommon, right? I mean,
they're
everybody's
cool.
doing them. Isn't that right, Phil and Justin? I know somebody comes on the show.
Yeah.
Well, that's Chris,
and
I wasn't even aware of their existence until Chris talked about them, and now like seeing them in the wild and stuff. It's like
that's cool.
It's so cool. We have a freaking leopard gecko like in our own backyard, and no one seems to even care about it.
100%.
When you see the other ones that we found, it's like that's a leopard gecko, like without a doubt, like that is a leopard gecko. Like
yeah,
it's crazy.
You'd think it's like right there, you could do the same kind of stuff. I mean, leopard geckos didn't all come out with like blue pattern and craziness. Like it was eventual breeding and stuff. So there's another
I
scorpion.
think literally it was something like 15 or 20 generations before they got the first orange spot on them that then turned into the whole carrot tail deal and all that.
You know,
so you're saying there's a
Oh, go ahead,
chance? No.
Yes, certainly. The other one actually that we saw was very pretty.
Damn. No.
The funny thing about herping the cuts to me is like as you're walking it, you know, you sort of like think that you're missing all this stuff, and then as soon as you see something, you know, it stands out, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm not missing it. You know, I am seeing things that are moving on this rock. You know, but
that's what
upset us. Seeing a 2-inch millipede, you're okay,
right? Yeah. That's what upset me is I'm like, I must be missing things. I'm like, no, but I keep seeing these damn millipedes. So.
Yeah,
but
those are actually pretty cool. I like those are pretty neat. I saw some really big ones.
That's the next picture after this.
See, but that looks like something out of Aliens. Like that's a little too.
Well, see, like I brought the black lights specifically because I knew me and Schmitty were bug guys, and
right.
And it's so crazy because so much stuff gives off a glow in a black light. You know, garbage on the side of the road, broken pieces of reflectors from the highway that plagued us the entire trip. But this particular bug really, really got me Jones because this was one of the target bug species for me. This is Diplocentris white-eye. This is the Big Ben scorpion. Mm-hmm. And they basically get like almost like a baby emperor scorpion. They get pretty diesel. And I was hoping to get a big one because the big ones you can kind of play with. They don't really care. But the little ones, they're very feisty. So this is as close as we got.
This does look not happy with you right there. Yeah.
Yeah. And at one point, you know, it was attacking the flying insects. And I got a live video on the iPhone about it, but it doesn't translate to this. But I figured I'd show that picture, you know, at least give you a scale reference.
Yeah.
Cool.
That is awesome.
I think the next night is when the doc struck
gold.
Herping gold.
And tetanus.
Oh yeah.
And tetanus. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think so the next day we'd gone down to the Big Bend National Park, did the Lost Mine bit. That was getting into the bears and all that. And then we'd come back up relatively in the afternoon, right? Rather than trying to hit that late afternoon. There was a colored lizard on the road that we chased, that we all saw and then tried to find, but lost it in the scree pile. And then Doc, as we're going on that wander, he goes and sees a coach whip that then, you know, turned into a fruitless endeavor. Again, bearing in mind that we're in the national park wearing our herping vests and all this, and it's kind of, maybe best left alone, but that's not the Doc way. So we wind up going in the car.
He's a doctor, damn it.
It's okay.
He do what he wants.
Yeah.
So we did the muskie stuff that night, right? Which is the, you know, between Fort Davis and Alpine, those cuts that are close to the Research Institute and all that. And Smitty and I were up there at the top, and then the rest of the crew was down a little bit lower around the bend and walked that for a while. So a handful of different things, but you guys definitely got the winners with the blacktail and the Atrax.
Blacktail. Please, God, show me a picture.
Just walking the wall. So you can walk the cuts, or you can walk the little retaining wall. And so I chose the wall, and I was walking along there, and not maybe 2 minutes after we started, there was this big, beautiful blacktail rattlesnake just right, you know, kind of headed towards the wall. And I got, you know, of course, just freaked out and got excited about it. And then it started to go on the, you know, away from the wall, past the private land fence and out of, you know, reach. So I'm like, oh, great. I just scared it off, and now, you know, I'm going to be able to see it or whatever. But so I grabbed some tongs from Phil and was reaching over the fence trying to, you know, hook it or grab it and pull it back over to the public side. And the barbed wire fence jammed in, barb got into my arm. So
Jesus!
And I tried to pull my arm away, and it was stuck in there. So I had to hurry and pull the fence out of my arm, and then and then try to grab the snake. But luckily, we got him back over, so that was a fun start to the
Worth
night
it.
for sure.
Worth it.
Yeah, that was
So,
that was a cool snake.
as alluded to there, to Scott's point, who I would herp to, I would say that undoubtedly the winner was Doc. The unaffiliated Doc was the winner.
Reptile Fight Club.
challenge.
Yeah, Reptile Fight Club beat everybody. There you go.
Beat everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's a cool snake.
No,
my
as to this
nature.
question, no, or not us. And then the rest were Aatrox, though we had several that wanted to be Mojaves,
Wanted to be.
but they were not.
Oh.
But they
Did we verify
wanted-
that one from Big Bend State Park? It was.
I did, yeah.
Aatrox?
So I mean, it's the black end. That's Aatrox and the small scales between the super oculars and the. So it had the double stuff, but other than that, I mean, they were all Aatrox. We had a handful that wanted to be.
That blacktail's amazing. I love those.
So that's Aatrox, yeah.
Yeah, I have some
That's
video
Aatrox.
coming
The
up.
anti-Aatrox.
Right,
This is
so-
like the chillest Aatrox I've ever seen in my
And
life.
Doc, you want to tell your theory on that while I zoom in on the snake's tail?
Yeah. So when I saw it, I
and I walked. Shoot, is it frozen?
We can hear you.
You'll be good.
Oh, okay. So I walked past it, and then I kind of got a little ways past, and I heard something. So I went back, and it was the Aatrox was crawling up a cut. So I hurried and hooked it onto kind of closer down by the road, and its tail was kind of a circle, like a curly. And I've heard that there's this mutation in some rattlesnake populations that keeps them, makes their tail all messed up so they can't rattle. And so I wonder if that was going on with this one.
Weird.
Yeah. 'cause it
Yeah,
doesn't
I'd never
rattle.
seen anything like that.
And it did not rattle
Weird.
At
the
all.
entire time. Yeah.
I even shook its tail to make sure that like the rattle worked, and it worked. It's just that for whatever reason that kink in the tail. I'd never seen that before. It was amazing.
So-
And all the rest of the ones we saw, were perfectly fine. Some were willing to use it, others will get there. Some were more willing to use it than others, but pretty good.
So we found this at we didn't find. Justin found it
And
about
Doc found
9:30
it.
at night. Yeah. And it was ambient temp was like 83 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was high humidity that night. I think it might have been because we were close to water. It was 52.9% humidity. But
It had been raining there. It's not really close. I mean, there might be a little seep spring that runs through that
Mhm.
spot, but it was more that they'd been getting good weather kind of the week before we had come.
yeah, but the fish, Justin and I kept hearing the fish jumping.
The weird
They're
fish
like
jumping.
jumping.
Yeah. That's very strange. Yeah, I think it's off
Yeah,
a
man.
seep or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is one of my favorite photos from the whole trip. Is just the look on Doc's face is just so happy, and like he's just so stoked that he got this snake. Awesome picture. I mean, it's a cell phone pic, but it totally captivates how we all felt at that exact time.
Yeah, because the feeling of like you don't know if you're going to find anything, and you sort of did a couple different hikes and stuff, and you sort of find you're sort of finding these little things here and there, but when you find something big like that, it was like it's like yes, now it's game on.
That's awesome.
Good stuff.
That is very cool.
That was the hardest part for me, man. That was my biggest concern, was not being able to hang like late nights. I'm like I told them, I'm like a 9-year-old man in a 30-year-old body. Like 9 o'clock rolls around, 11 o'clock rolls around. It's time.
You
for
did good, man.
You did.
No, but
Yeah.
that's
You
the
did good.
biggest fear. You never want to be the guy that's just like, hey, can we go
The nerd
home?
at the sleepover.
Yeah,
That's like,
or
"Mom,
it's like,
come
yeah,
get me."
no. Nope, no. You never want to be the guy that's like, hey man, can we stop? And that was my struggle through Australia. So yeah.
Me and Rob have talked about it a bunch, but the difference between herp in the US and herp in Australia is like it's getting dark at 6 o'clock. It's like perfect for old people. herpers. Whereas like it doesn't really. What time did it start to sunset? At what,
like 9.
9:30?
It was
At
dark
8:30
at
at 9,
9.
it would start to go down, and then you got another half hour of glow and all this. So I mean, literally, I think especially Phil and I, it was like we're going to bed at 3:34 in the morning, and then the expectation is getting up by 7:30, 8 o'clock. And
that is not.
I mean, it's one thing to do that once, but you do that, 6 or 7 days in a row.
That is extremely false. We would get back to the house at like 3-ish. We would putz around for like an hour, and then you and I would stay up till 5 in the morning having beer. That happened at least 4 or 5 nights.
False. That's overestimating the amount of sleep that we got. Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
So
Rob Stone sustains himself on finding snakes and taking pictures. He only needs maybe 5 minutes of sleep.
He's not human.
No, I know, right? I told you.
Like the entire time, I'm like, how is he just waking up and continuing? Like, I'm dying. I'm having to drink like 5 bangs a day just to keep up.
You're more bang energy drink than human. Yeah,
pretty much. Vic asked what was going through my mind when I saw the mama bear, and it was pretty much stay arm's length away, at least, please. Thank you.
What was going through his mind is I can throw Eric at it, and then I'll live. Yeah.
Women and children last.
Can you guys hear the video or no?
No, which is fine.
Yeah.
We don't.
Like, is it?
I mean, yeah. All right. Is it rattling or is it
just rattling?
I like to hear rattle.
I'm sitting there looking like Billy Bob from Sling Blade. Like,
French fried taters.
That's an ornatus.
Everybody has the role to play in the herping. Just go along with it.
So in the flow of
Kevin
things,
in the office,
in the photo flow, what did you have as the next day?
Daryl,
we took it pretty easy. It turned out that wound up being more of a big deal, kind of crusher than I anticipated. I think we did the Pinto Canyon bit. Certainly, that's what the photo looks like.
I got 6'9". Was when we found the whip snake at the Moderna.
Yeah, my pictures are all screwed up. I'm gonna there's another video of that ornata that I'm gonna pull up. I don't know why it didn't translate over. Just bear with me, gentlemen.
And of course, telling me to make the jump into venomous. If it would be anything, it would be blacktails. So, but no, it will be nothing. Nothing. God damn it.
Well, you're halfway
to
there.
Wikipedia,
You have the
they're not
venomous
that
starter
toxic.
pack.
What? Hey, the Hamburg starter pack. I could get a blacktail, a mamba, and a crocodile.
No,
that one we found is probably on a
over.
table at Hamburg at the next show.
Exactly.
You can have that very animal.
You could have grabbed that thing and mailed it to me, and I would have sold that fucker then and there. It'd be done.
All right, Justin, throw up that or Smitty, throw up that video real quick. Here.
No.
Oops. Where the hell is the video now? Uh-oh, I lost it. Stand by.
These technical difficulties.
Can you hear it or no?
No.
All right, hang on.
Struggles as much with getting the video to work as he did barking, striking at the right places.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
Smitty with the subtle savage there that went unnoticed. That's pretty good.
On to his own guy too. Like I'm never that mean to Eric.
Oh, speak for yourself.
I missed the joke because I was watching the video.
I was doing my job. Yeah.
I missed the stop because I was looking at something else other than the road or the cut. Like,
look, man, it's a fucking minivan. All right, humor me a little. I'll tell you though, it was crazy getting in my car after a week of driving that friggin' van. I felt like I was driving a go-kart. It was crazy. So we're
they didn't make you go home with it.
Right?
You put that thing through the freaking ringer, man.
Well, I'm still waiting to hear the insurance claim, so we'll see about that.
Oh God, no!
And it was dumb. Man, we do way worse to vehicles.
Oh yeah,
that. It's so dumb.
So we're gonna do the Horned-Toad Canyon next.
I think so. Wasn't that the next day? Because we took it pretty easy, and then we were going to go up to. We're going to go to Madera, and then it ostensibly was closed, which turned out not to be the case, right? And we were going to do Hancock Hills, so then we went down Pinto Canyon, and then I think we did then that night we did the Alpine stuff, right? We did West Alpine mostly, and right. Well, so one bit that's been skipped here, right, before we even get into that, is that it turns out that the West Texas is full of police officers of varying sorts, which is fine.
Yes,
yes, they are.
On the drive between San Antonio, and in a way that we didn't even perceive in September. So I don't know if it was that we didn't notice them. I kind of don't think that was the case. I think there must be some discrepancy between September and June in terms of what's going on, because the we thought we had seen 40 cars between San Antonio and Sanderson. Right. So in one night, and we got lit up twice out of that.
Yeah. Towns of 20 people and 15 of them are cops.
Yeah. It's
pretty much
totally bananas. Mostly border patrol folks. But, and the funny thing to me, man, it's unreal, especially compared to Australia. Scott will appreciate this, is that, like, you know, so in Texas, there's a regulation that says that herpers have to wear these reflective orange vests that you'll see us in essentially all these videos, save when we're doing an actual hike, non-herp intend stuff. And they would take one look at this bunch of gringos wearing these orange vests, and they would say, "Oh, well, did you find anything tonight?" You know, that's the instant reaction. And it's the only place in the world that I can imagine both the instant reaction being, "Oh, you're looking for snakes," and B, that's totally normal and fine and approved usage, so to speak. That I think it truly is a unique experience across the world. That would be the case.
If you want to hop the border, just put on a reflective vest.
Yeah, pretend like you're looking for snakes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we called it herper's privilege because how many times did the cops, whip out of nowhere, shine the light in your face? U.S. Customs Border Patrol, let me see your, son of a bitch. All right, you find any snakes tonight, guys?
No.
Yeah, I mean, so, out of that first night, we got lit up twice, and that was the reaction. But even, man, there had to be 3 or 4 or 5 more drive-bys, or sort of where they come up and then they slow down and come up and slow down. I mean, I thought we would get another 3 or 4 out of the interactions that we were having, but
oh yeah,
that's the one instance where looking for snakes and wearing the vest that indicates as much. It's the only place in the world that's like that. Even on the last day, when we were in 90 minutes east of there, I don't think that would have been the case. We had that weird interaction at the end with the cop or whatever it was who was sitting on that last road. I don't even think there it would have been the same. It's something to do with that, square 3 or 4 counties, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I have those horned toads we found them the day of the rattlesnakes.
That's
okay.
Blacktail.
Oh, we went there before we went. Okay. Yeah. I think that's right. We were going to do we did Little Caesars, get us some hot and ready that ain't hot and ready.
Yeah.
That was
nice. Lukewarm and kind of there. Yeah.
No, it wasn't even, we had to sit there for 15, 20 minutes or whatever it was. And then you get it, then you eat it, and then you head out. So yeah, I think we found them the second night though, or no? Because we went out there twice.
6-8. June 8th is when we found those.
What do you have on 7?
7 was 7. I think that was just, hold on.
So that's Lost Mine. And what else?
That was the 7 was the Sanderson with the night snake and the what is it? The Coleonyx.
Well, that means 7 early AM, not PM, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe 7 we took it early. I don't know. I don't really have any pictures too much from 7 other than
I think that was the Alpine. I think we did the Alpine stuff, and that was the mysterious colubrid, right? Much to Justin's chagrin, and we got into a debate about whether you can poke a snake in the face and have it move forward or backward.
Oh yes. We went out to the we looked at the dino spot. That was that day.
Oh yeah,
6, 7. So
okay. Well, I figured let's show these first because this is all the Alpine stuff anyway. So, so this is our cabin, our beautiful, beautiful cabin.
We stayed at that same place, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Same spot. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
And we went into town to get some local cuisine. And here's the boys enjoying the local dining.
Yeah. Okay.
Sauteed onions.
Nice.
Yes. That's great.
What the hell?
The funny thing is that I think everybody thinks that Justin wrote that, but that was there.
That was there when we walked up.
That was there. He added a ditto or what? Yeah.
I threw up an amen.
Hallelujah.
Rob has this way of finding these little, awesome food spots that are just like off the beaten trail, if you will. Just like
that aren't the Chili's. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Even on the way back through Del Rio, that was pretty good. Yeah, that Mexican joint was pretty good.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
But we will get there, I suppose.
I found that one. Future. Come on, guys, a little credit.
Oh, I know, right? Got to give Doc credit on that.
Not the credit on the snakes, but credit on the food place. Got
credit
it.
on the snake, the food, the
Doc
great
found us the Sonic.
all this stuff.
Credit on everything. Got it.
The bird. Birds.
All the doves.
What kind of bird is that? It's a bird. That's why we need him. He needs to actually tell. Yeah.
He brought his handler Christian with him. Yeah, it was great.
Christian. So my photos are all screwed up, but I figured this is from the Lost Canyon, right? Lost Mine, excuse me. And then I have a couple pictures after this of when we first got into the dino dig and all that, and I'll show them next. But just no one can grasp the vastness of where we were. You have to physically see it for yourself because, I've been to Utah, Arizona, Nevada, Florida, all over the eastern seaboard, but nothing hails in comparison to the vastness of where we were. It's absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah. And that's right here in our backyard.
Literally and metaphorically.
That's a rock.
Yeah, that was some rock lichen that I wound up taking a picture of. I thought that was pretty cool because that was actually like the one shade spot when we were on the trail. And I was like, man, like as hot as it was, lichen is still growing on friggin' rock. Amazing. Yeah. So I thought this was a good picture too. This is before we got there. Yes, it's literally baked on there. So
and I ended up taking a lot of pictures of the cuts and stuff just for reference for like habitat and stuff that Baird's and Alterna and Subox and stuff are using because it's really interesting to see the areas that they live in. And even with the Bairds in particular, as many places as we were where they they're found, it was interesting to see just the different types of habitat and stuff they're occupying.
Yeah.
I pulled a Casey Cannon. I was like, I got to pay attention to all of it and the minute details. But those horn lizards, man, those were probably the highlight of the trip for me.
They're very cool.
I didn't have an appreciation for those until it was chasing them around the car and
Benny Hill
stuff like that,
music playing and all that.
Yeah. Like I ended up buying a shirt at the Big Bend outpost thingy.
Oh, you mean like this one?
Yeah. Mine's in the wash because I've already worn it like 2 times.
That's awesome.
Nice. It's awesome, man. Like they're so cool.
Yeah.
Certainly, all those purchases didn't help with the gal at Big Bend State Park between
$50 in
the notion that she's going to have to dig our corpses out of there, and then B, that you're reptile folk, and that means that you're necessarily going to take stuff. Which for the record, none of us. There were no additions beyond the memories and the photos and all that for us.
Yes.
Even though we could have done so, but. That wasn't the case with us, but that wasn't the case with everybody. So I understand why she would have the perspective she did. But between not wanting to fish our corpses out of a 2.5 hours away sort of deal, and then thinking that maybe we're going to take something home, I understand that. But certainly, all your purchases didn't help the sentiment in the room, shall we say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe her exact words were, "People die there, right?"
Okay.
It's like, thanks. Yeah, I was like,
Thank you.
We're all right. We're all
I
right.
bought a
We're all right.
$25 shirt. Shut up.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true.
I just like
worth every
I had
penny.
asked, hey, so not many people around the park this time of year, or today or whatever, and they had said, deadpan, no, y'all are
Okay.
insane.
Thank you.
Yeah. It was the same grumpy lady that we had run into before, Owen.
Oh,
You've
nice.
seen-
I mean, I'm trying to remember that one general store / restaurant that we went to several times.
That got plenty of- no worries there. Doc and I split a strawberry moon pie. What a time to be alive. It proceeded to melt the second we walked out of the room, even though it was in the shade.
See,
But-
that's
Bill's professional photography with my eyes closed.
the eyes closed. I mean, that's
Well,
just the way
so
you
there's a progression to these photos. So you look at the horned lizard,
Yeah.
and forgive me, I always say horned toad. It's a bad habit, but you look at the horned lizard and how Justin's spreading his feet apart, and the lizard's just like, "Dear God,
Spread
put me
eagle.
down, put me down."
Please,
And
please
we-
don't hurt me.
Spare me.
we passed around quite a few lizards for the. See, man, my photos are all messed up. Hang on
That's
a
a
second.
tarantula.
Yeah,
There was a lot of Aphonopelma to be had, and it was awesome.
there was.
Not
See,
at the
again.
same scale that we had seen, Owen.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
they
in
were
terms
walking
of-
across the street.
Right, and it was just like in droves. This was more, they were kind of everywhere out and about, but not in the singular numbers in the same spot that we had seen.
But it seemed
I
like
think
more diversity because it seems like we only saw the black species, whatever they are. I don't know the tarantulas, but it seemed
Yeah.
like just a bunch of black tarantulas. Whereas this time we saw a lot of blondes and different species. It looked like.
Yeah, and I think we saw a bunch of boys that were walking from one place to another or something like that. We didn't see very many females, and
Yeah.
it got to the point where we were like, we stopped for like the first two tarantula, and then after that we were like, it's another tarantula.
And I think all the ones that we came across, I think maybe I saw one male, but everything else was female.
Nice
That's interesting.
wanker shots. Yeah,
There were,
okay.
Love 'em.
there were some
Put
big
the
ones,
lizard
yeah.
down.
This is how you doing.
Yeah,
He says, "Hey, lady, want to see my horned lizard?"
yeah, that's yeah.
It shoots blood out of its eye.
That's
I
the
love-
photo Eric uses on his like working profile. It's like, LinkedIn.
Yeah. I like this picture because Rob's holding it. He's thinking to himself, "I'm actually holding this.
Put this in my
This,
pocket.
this is really happening."
Yeah, we didn't see any last time, which
saw
was a
the-
bummer.
We saw Justin found the dead one on the side of the road when we were coming back
Right.
after the coach
Yeah.
whip, but that was a bummer. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
we
was
came
in
across
New
like
Mexico.
what 4 or 5 of those,
Yeah.
yeah.
and we think that I think 3 of those 4 we thought maybe it just laid eggs just because of how dirty they were on the underside, like around the vent and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
it's super
awesome.
skinny.
Out and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, nice.
That's a great shot. Doc with his merit badge. I love
Yeah,
it.
holding it up like it's a freaking ribbon at a fair.
You put that in the next book he writes.
Ah,
Right.
Yeah,
that thing
that's
was
his
so
author
beautiful. That was a cool lizard. I'll have to write the complete horny toad now, I guess.
Next, yeah, that's the
Right.
next one. We gotta find something else. What's the next complete thing? So
Yes, the horny
Yeah.
toad.
Hey guys, I
That's
got to
awesome.
And
jump.
Justin, to
It's,
celebrate that one, decided that it would be fun to, touch the tailpipe under the core, so
Yeah.
that
That
give him
did
a little
not feel
souvenir.
good.
well, Doc's leaving.
I'll
Yep.
yeah, catch you later, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Doc.
Later.
Bye. So this photo is probably my favorite photo of all the ones I took on the trip. And it's Rob taking a shot of the first male horned toad we found. And I like this photo because this is like the vibe of the whole trip. It's just like animals in their natural habitat, stuff we've never seen before, stuff that we even imagined we were going to see, just got lucky. And
Yeah.
like this shot,
Mm.
I just like this photo.
Is the next photo like a cell phone photo of you taking the photo of Rob taking the photo of the horn lizard, and then is the next one another?
No, it's not
photo
a
of,
it's not
it should just keep going.
Yeah,
So-
Russian dolls of
Yes.
photography. Yes,
Eventually, it's just from the horn lizard perspective, staring at Rob. Yeah,
right.
so that's awesome. I wish I had seen those. Those are cool little lizards, and I am kind of bummed that I didn't get to see them the first go. So once again, you guys are crushing it already.
Like I said, I didn't have an appreciation, like a true appreciation for them before. I always saw them. I was like, yeah, those are cool and all, but like seeing them, like seeing the habitat, getting your hands on them, checking them out is just so cool.
Is there shit now that either one of you guys wants to keep because you found it out there in the wild?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rattlesnakes.
I had never seen Ornata in person before that night. And I've had Molossus.
Right.
Like I've had Molossus countless times. Like, they're cool, but dude, that Ornata with the black mask on the face and that opaque slate color to it.
I like how it started solid and then by the middle it morphed into like this marble,
like a striped kind of deal. Yeah, I fully support both of you getting venomous because then I don't have to, and I can live vicariously through the two of you and not have to explain. That there's certain cages that she doesn't need to look at, or that also like near death. So.
As Chris points out here in the chat, the Coleonyx are very sweet, and the whole experience of them, particularly in the context of a couple different wild ones, but instantly getting that same communication and feel and behavior, both in terms of the tail action and then the pressing into your hand and all that stuff. They're definitely hugely underrated. There's no doubt about that. That like relative even to the standard Macularis and stuff, that they're very cool little geckos that. That I could see because they're totally gorgeous and beautiful. The second one in particular was just amazing with the yellows and oranges popping through.
Oh yeah. We'll get there.
That might be a magazine cover.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Shot.
Well, I have the magazine photo. I was saving it, but we're gonna get there.
Okay. We'll get there.
It's not. I hope that it's not blurry because it is a cell phone photo, but. If not, this would
probably
be
not going to work then, dude.
This would be the perfect photo for the magazine. Though. This is the first Atrox, right, Rob?
Yep. So this is Muskie's Canyon. So this is what I was saying about being below the Research Institute. This is found by Doc on the wall.
Nice.
That's insane. I love Atrox.
It just blends in so well.
God, if I was
this was actually
a little bit
on a little bit of a cut. But
yeah,
on that wall, it wasn't as like the other one was a solid wall where I think this was actual cut.
I do love the color and how the rock kind of matches. I mean, that's
dude, that curled up sitting still, you ain't seeing it.
I dig that. Again, if I was just a little bit crazier, I'd have tons of freaking Atrox.
When we show that lighter one that we found, like Julian almost stepped on it. Like I was right behind him, and he was very close to stepping on that.
We'll get there. That'll be really, really bad. And this even is a bummer because, Facebook is crushing this picture. So please, assume that it's even better resolution if you actually saw it in a non-crushed form.
Whatever you're seeing now, it's better. Got it.
It's actually better.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the other one. Hang on.
So hold on. Eric. So looking at your log of our adventure, what was the next? So you're saying that's 7. What do you have for 8?
Well, for 8, 8 at 9:30 was the blacktail and the Atrox.
Okay, so go to
8:30 p.m. So on the 9th, I don't remember exactly what we did during the day, but about 5 o'clock. Maybe 4 or 5 o'clock is when we went to Moderna Canyon Trail. And that's when we found the Central Texas whip snake and then the mountain patch nose snake. Oh, and we went there. You'll remember that trail. That was
was it the one where we found the patch nose last time, or was that a different? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
same trail.
Same patch nose.
Same patch nose. Weird. Same rock. That's insane.
No, so this one, that was the funny bit, right? And Eric and I had talked to Brian Box, and
it's cool.
When we were talking about it, the patch nose you usually flip, but this wasn't a flip. This was Schmitty walking ahead on the trail in this essentially the same spot that this whip snake had been. So all good, but man, this snake was probably my favorite of the whole bit.
That's a cool snake.
Is that the actual one that y'all were taking pictures of?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was up a ways looking through rocks trying to find lips.
I love how the color changes. It's like red, and then it's sort of
insane. They don't. The fun bit to me is they don't all look like this. Like if you look on Instagram, there's pictures of one other of this same subspecies, and it's entirely black with the white banding.
It's a
They don't look like this. This is a very
start a
special
project.
snake.
Yeah, that's a cool snake.
Well,
I do enjoy the head.
But fortunately, we had intervened, and also all good, and gets to continue doing its deal. So no worries.
Yeah, that was.
So this is where the temp started to go up. I think the ground temp was 96, the ambient was 91, humidity was 27%, UV was like 2.6. We were at 5830 elevation.
That's a cool shot.
Angry snake.
Yeah.
Grumpy snake is grumpy. Disgruntled snake is disgruntled. Yeah.
The Texas Teletornus, man.
Yeah, 100%. So we went through a whole sequence of photos on this. So there'll definitely be more that'll hit my Instagram out of this. But this is kind of my favorite. This one that you got up now,
Yeah.
And then one that shows kind of the whole critter in one go. But I'll definitely be posting some more out of this. I probably took a few hundred of this snake. It was very, very cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and tell them about how you guys were trying to do a video of the release of the animal and like what it did. Like
this was funny. So as eventually it was just me taking pictures of it, and y'all had wandered away and stuff. And this was before we went to before we went to put it in the tree? I think, yeah. So the tree was the end. So, but you guys had walked away, and I had it there, and you guys wanted to do a video of it taking off, and it started telescoping when it was just me standing there, and I was giving it quite a bit of distance, and I was just kind of watching it, taking a few photos, and it started telescoping up, and I got some photos of that. It was, probably 3 or 4 inches on the front end off the ground. Pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Definitely switched on snakes that 100% really cool. Probably not something that does super well in captivity. There's probably a reason we don't see basically any Masticophis. I know there have been some folks that have done some, but it was right in that spot that it was, and all good.
That's cool.
I think this was there was a thunderstorm that was kind of rolling in.
Yeah, we got
a bit. We got like 20 minutes of rain or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the moths or butterflies or
termites
cheetahs or whatever they were.
Termites, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hiked that trail for about it must have been 3 hours. We must have been at it because Justin found that patch nose snake at about 8 o'clock.
I was so sure that was a Baird's, man.
It would have been a little weird for a Baird's at that particular spot, but I'm with you, man.
And I saw the grayish color and the stripes, and I was like, "Oh man, that's it." And then, I mean, it's still that was another highlight, was just finding that thing and the that subtle blue and stuff on it, and it's 100% worth it. But I got excited for half a second.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with this ecosystem because you're hiking up the mountain, excuse me, and it looks like one thing, and then you get excuse me, and then you get to the top, and it's this, and it's just super impressive. It reminded me of like something out of a African novel from 1910. It was amazing. This is a Scaloporus lizard that you guys have found, and just trying to get photos of you guys in action,
Yeah, so the Scaloporus were under the same rock that Doc had flipped that patch nose last year, Owen. So This is actually that same rock.
Yeah.
And this year there was a pair of Scaloporus under it.
That's awesome.
There was 2, right? Wasn't there another one as well? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a male-female pair.
Doc's just
Pretty
flipping
cool.
rocks with his hands and stuff. I'm like, dude.
They're rattlesnakes.
Yeah, you're killing me.
Everything screams to me rattlesnakes in this spot. But
Right.
I'm amazed we didn't find any. Because as many little rocky, groupings and stuff as we were walking through and whatnot,
Again, it looks like the book cover, like of what it should be, and then you just don't find them there. So
they're 100% there, man. It's just whether they want to be sitting out and all.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about the termites, and then I'll show the video?
Sure. So this was post-rain, and they just were, they wanted to come out and do their thing.
It was almost like snow. It was wild.
It's hard to see on the stream, on the screen share, but You guys can see like
falling down out of the sky. Yeah.
Snowflake. Well, they're going up.
No, they're rising up from the ground.
They're
these
man.
little winged termites that, must have been 10,000 of them.
It's like ashes, but falling in reverse. It was very strange.
That's insane.
And this is where the ants started to bite my feet.
Yeah, Eric's feet turned into a mess, man.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that a little bit, just in terms of the challenge of field herping, right? Is that so the first few days, Eric keeps talking about how he wants this blister to pop, off the work that he's been doing and all this stuff. And then it did, and he came to regret that choice, to rue that choice for sure.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, that was not good.
Never good. Never good.
I think when we were, we didn't find anything else at that spot, but I think when we were coming down to was that the General Dollar Store or General Store? Oh God, forbid.
No, that was, I think the next, was that
the next night?
Go up to, you're probably right. That was Observatory and all that. And it's
because we found that cuckolata on the road, right?
Yeah. So on the way down, there was the cuckolata that had been hit off that rain. Yeah, you're 100%. Which is what the Big Bend, the non-collared Big Bend Tantilla. I don't know if that's in there. I didn't put that up. But anyway, then we go into Fort Davis, and it there was literally no options post. Yeah, Patch Nose there. I haven't put mine up yet.
That's nice.
Yeah, and like the blues, man. It's like a whitish,
a lot of subtlety in those.
Yeah.
Remind me of my beauty snake color-wise, kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that. They're like, man, that looks like a beauty.
Close.
Not far off. Yeah.
Not really, yeah. Sure.
But yeah, the only thing open in Fort Davis was the Dollar General, right? There was no Walmart, much to Doc's Google chagrin. I don't know what he was even thinking. That's a tiny town.
Yeah, it was there's a Walmart.
A lot of the stores closed at like 7 or 8 o'clock, and then that was it. You had nothing.
Yeah. There was we were all off on timing with that whole deal. The only thing there was Dollar General. We got that, and we're able to make out. And otherwise, we were we'll get there eventually. But man, in Alpine, turns out there's one spot you can go after 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and that's Penny's Diner. And we were there 2 nights in a row at 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's the same time that the woman told us that she was out of maple syrup, and it wouldn't be arriving until Friday.
Oh, well, that was day 2 because we had thrown off their whole calculation. They very clearly had a strict regimen of the number of people that'll come in on a given day and what the supplies they need. And by coming day 1, we had thrown it off, and then by day 2, they were out of stuff.
Yeah,
but you just got to go make a pickup at the train station, man. No worries.
I couldn't understand why you would take an order for, the first night we kind of ordered all these different things, and
you did. The rest of us made a good choice and said, okay, it's clearly this one dude. And I'm not going to ask him to make anything that ain't going on that flat top, man.
Eric's like, I'll have the lobster and
I ordered a chicken
sauteed onions.
Yeah,
chicken sandwich. They sent it with mayonnaise. So anyway, the next night though, I think we all ordered pancakes, right? And when they take the order, it doesn't think to tell us that they only have 6 cups of syrup.
You got like a 3 ounce, 6 2 ounce cups
little
of syrup.
Solo cup.
Oh my God.
Berg about jumped out of his skin when he saw that mayonnaise though.
Yeah,
I've never seen someone borderline phobic of mayo, man.
Terrified.
It's bears and mayo. Bears
can't do it.
Mayonnaise. Those are the 2 fears. Yeah.
It's just 2
my
bugaboos.
kryptonite.
Yeah,
that is the scariest thing in the Northeast.
One day he'll find a bear that's covered in mayonnaise, and that's it. That's what kills him.
That's game over.
I mean, mayonnaise is disgusting, but it is bacon, and that overrides the mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And then he wound up getting at least a little bit off the chicken, which was funny as hell.
Yeah. We weren't even back yet, and he's like, "Man, I'm gonna regret this. I'm feeling it." Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Wonderful.
That was a poor choice.
Well, I mean, clearly the guy needed a little bit of work, right, Justin? In the sense that what it took him 7 waffles to be able to make you 3.
Yeah. I'm watching him make them, and I just continually see him pouring batter into the maker, and I'm like, "What is happening?"
We heard the alarm. We heard the meh, 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 meh. We heard the alarm going off. Like, flip the friggin' waffle, and he wasn't flipping it.
And I you know what's funny? I'm sitting there going like, this is the staple at Tinley Park, man. I mean, every reptile show hotel has the waffle maker, and we can all
do it ourselves. Yeah. Yep.
You want us to take over for you? What's going on?
There's a reason this guy was the 3 a.m. line cook, okay?
No, he was the line cook. He was the waiter.
He was everything.
Yeah.
He was the hotel.
The guy who
wasn't
had
the
to pick
cashier.
at the train station.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the other guy. He's like, he'll ring you up in a second. I got to go pick someone up from the train station at 3 a.m. I got to go pick up someone from the...
What train is coming in at 3 a.m.?
That's what I didn't ask questions.
What train, anything,
I was too tired to even ask questions. I was like,
this is one of those, like, a freight train's going to come by and his buddy's going to jump off of it because it's moving slowly. Like, no.
Like
I imagine.
Psycho. I have to return some videotapes.
I imagined an old steam locomotive, and Lee Van Cleef is sitting in the front, and like it's like, oh, this is the 11:15 from Tucumcari, you know.
You want the 11:30, and it just keeps going.
It just keeps going. Yeah. Yep, that's it. 4 hobos hop off the back.
Yep.
So where are we at on the schedule so far? Because we're going all over.
He
the
was
place.
back after like 5 minutes too. Or like 10 minutes.
I know, right?
It was a quick stop wherever he went.
Stop at the train station, man.
The 10th.
No worries.
The 10th. I'm not sure what we did during the day, but the Big Bend State Park, where we went off on that trail. What's the name of that trail, Rob? Where we found the Atrox that was kind of blended into the rock.
So that's Rancherias West. That's the thing that so we had initially done the Hoodoos bit, which is, and you all went down to try and cross into Mexico through the river or whatever, wound up being a little bit deeper than you thought. It was called.
If I had to change of clothes, I would have been swimming in there for real, man. It was hot.
Yeah, man. So, and it was 114.
Yes,
something like that at that point. I mean, you're down pretty far. It's that limestone that soaks it up. You feel like your shoes are going to melt for sure. So I get it, but so that we did that, and then I had said that, and then the closed canyon, which is kind of a nightmare. I mean, it's a cool place, but man, there's no air circulation. So we just wound up going back to the general store. Owen got a little moon pie, got some ice cream, all that. And then we went back to Imperial West, which is the spot we had gone, where we got rained off of last year.
Right. Yep.
So we made it further.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a seep that if you follow the curve, then you go up this seep. And so we did that, and
that's awesome.
Well, Chris. Okay, so I see Chris is kind of. We'll get to that, at least relative to the guns bit. But so we go up the seep, and naturally, as ever, this is Doc exploring. That leads us where we want to go. I know that Phil, Eric, and I were hanging out there. Schmitty was off doing his own thing on this ridge just for the heck of it. That was a little confusing.
I was looking for stuff in the spots no one looks, man.
Yeah.
He's on a vision. He's on a vision quest. Let it happen.
Yeah, I was on a mission.
So this is actually the bottom, like the mud of the Rio Grande.
Yeah.
And obviously in summer, it's very, very thinned out. There's probably, what would you say, Justin, 30, 40 yards of rock covered in silt?
Maybe 10 or 15.
Okay, well, so you can see where the rivers come back.
In some spots, I can see
it. So this rock that I'm standing on is actually like, it feels like the rubber mats in a gymnasium.
Oh my God.
It's the mud silt at the bottom of the river that first of all, it smells atrocious.
It smells like horses.
It smells like a horse stall from, I guess, all the bacteria and stuff. But it's just crazy because you walk on it. It has like this bouncy sponginess to it, but it looks like cracked earth,
Gelatinous.
Nuts.
Very gelatinous.
Like walking on cheesecake.
This is inside the canyon. We'll get there in a second. I want to show you guys one more video real quick. Oh, hold on. I went too fast. Facebook can't keep up.
This day was hot.
It was definitely hot. It was like an ambient in the shade of 108, 109, even come 6 or 7.
That was my favorite of the hikes, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was super.
Yeah.
It's a super cool spot. It's one of my favorites. It's definitely the sort of place where people will die, particularly according to the lady who works at the state park office for
Right.
sure. She's definitely. I remember. So I learned the lesson. I mentioned where we were actually going last year, and she was offended enough in September that I sure as heck wasn't going to tell her in early June.
Yeah.
Probably would have arrested us just to keep us from going.
Yep.
Just to give you an idea, so you can have a perspective. When we did it during the day, and it was still daylight. This time we were there at night, so we went way past.
We went at dusk. Yeah, like what we started at 8:00. So you know, a half hour from the sun going down, and then you get the half-hour glow.
Cool.
Yeah, I think the sun must have been down about 9:00 or so, because we were walking that trail, and Justin Doc he almost stepped on that Atrox about. I got it at 9:18. So
last thing you want to do is have to go up to that park lady and be like, "Yeah, somebody got bit by a rattlesnake." Like we
left his body back there.
We left his body back further for you.
Well,
you
that's the whole day. 9. What do you mean, Eric? 9:18. It was way
9:18.
later.
Yeah, it was. They had to be later than that.
It was like 1 a.m, dude.
Yeah, damn near.
I'm telling you, the picture.
Picture don't lie.
Stamp.
I know, but that's on your thing, which is probably 2 hours off. So maybe it's 11:15.
Why would all my other pictures not be?
Well, the iPhone would automatically correct itself to the time where you're at.
Correct.
Okay, but we were 2.5 hours up from when we didn't start till 8:00.
Yeah,
and
mine,
we were 2.5
mine
hours
says
up.
11:19.
That's not right.
Mine says 11:19.
I can't help you anymore. You've been proven wrong. I'm just gonna slink away. So
okay, all right.
All right.
Why it's wrong? I can't tell you. It was not 15. No, not at all.
Okay.
But yeah, so we followed the seep up to the point that was actually a little dodgy in the sense that it's like I guess if you were running, you could probably do it in 1:15, 1:20, as long as you didn't miss the trail, and then you're just totally out of it, which is easy enough to do. And the part that was dodgy about it was that snake was in camouflage and was totally fine until kind of the last cell phone photo. I didn't even get any pictures of it in that camouflage position when it determined that its camouflage had been compromised.
It wasn't working.
And then it went berserk and was like as whacked out as they can be, save that one on 2400,
Jeez.
And then it became a really dangerous deal where it's like, and to me, it highlighted the danger of those things generally, which is it seemed totally fine in camouflage. I mean, people were getting maybe a little aggressive with it in terms. So this is after it's reacted.
Right.
You want Eric put up a picture where it's still in that camouflage, feeling that camouflage.
Yeah, we all got pictures of that before Rob did.
Right. You guys took some cell phone shots, and the last cell phone shot sent it into a rage, and I was a little annoyed about the whole deal until I reminded Eric that, hey, he could help us out with that. And he was like, no, I can't. And I was like, but you can. And then he was like, oh, I can. Fair enough. Fair play.
I didn't think I had the cook.
So, yeah, all good there. And got some cool shots. But to me, it highlighted and I know Phil will say, yeah, of course, and Nipper will say, yeah, of course, all this stuff. But it's like everybody's taking shots of this thing sitting there like a cow pie, and it's not doing anything. And then you're getting within 2 or 3 feet of it, taking these cell phone pictures and all this stuff. But then once it realized that it had given up the ghost on that camouflage, you wouldn't put a hand within 6 feet of that thing, let alone 2.5 foot.
Yeah.
Wow. So I sent you the picture I had of it curled up too.
Oh no,
on Messenger.
Okay,
that's pretty.
I have better pictures. The problem is that because of the translation from the MacBook, it's not like this picture here is probably the best one. There you go. And you could just barely see it. And that was Doc's foot was like right around. Hold on.
Yeah, I was
Doc's
right behind him walking.
Like right there.
He came very close to stepping on that thing for
because he literally was like, "Whoa, hey, a snake! Hey, what do you know?"
Yeah, and it didn't react, right? I mean, it's
right. He just sat there. Didn't make
but
a peep.
then it made a run, and then the next thing you know, that thing was just as aggressive as any Aatrox you're going to see, or defensive. Just
awesome.
just as reactive, I guess, is really the key point. And it's like, holy heck, we were, I had folks putting cell phones within 3 foot of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
Things
find. I have video
very quickly
of it getting agitated, but I don't know if I'll be able to play it. It's not letting me stand by.
Hold.
Smitty, you said you sent a photo?
Yeah, on Messenger.
Oh yeah, that's an even better photo. That's a great photo. Hang on.
I snuck it before anybody else in Stone
did anything. Yeah.
That's the picture.
Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
Almost invisible.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's insane.
The perfect
Totally
blend
invisible.
on that deal.
Oh yeah.
Samsung for the win.
Samsung for the win.
iPhone's gonna go to hell.
Let's not get carried away.
Whoa
Yeah.
now.
Slow down there, buddy.
Let's not go. Let's not say things we don't mean.
Yeah, so to Miguel's question, I'm actually not. So I'm doing I forget even the term. Justin kept a bridge deal, the RX-10 Mark IV. So it's cheating on this stuff, but it makes it a ton easier. I know Salemi has the full interchangeable deal and all that, and definitely was super useful on our first trip. So it became clear to me I needed to do something better than what I was doing. But this is definitely solidly in the bridge deal. But it's a nice camera, and honestly, it's comparable to. So it's similar to Justin's deal, at least in terms of price point. Doc, he's got the P1000 that really has that crazy zoom, but it doesn't have that big of a sensor on it, so it doesn't work all that well relative to low light stuff and all that. So in terms of somebody looking for a bridge, I do recommend that RX-10 Mark IV. I think that's about the best you can do at that kind of price point, and relatively manageable in terms of a herping trip and carrying it around while you're also carrying a gallon of water and all that other stuff. So it's not the best. There are definitely things people can do way better than what I'm doing if you're doing interchangeable lenses, but to me, it's a really nice balance.
Water?
Yeah, you didn't on the Lost Mine deal.
we need water.
I didn't know that the Lost Mine deal was going to be the deal that it was. No, I didn't get any forewarning. And then I felt like
I told you we went up 1,000 feet in 2 miles, dude.
That means nothing to me. That has nothing to do with water intake.
I don't know distance.
That just means you're not going to be able to breathe at the top.
So I just uploaded the video of the Aatrox getting a little spazzy. So I'm going to unplug my microphone real quick so you guys can hear it. Let me just switch screens. Okay.
Is that the cover picture that you were thinking of?
What's that?
So is that the cover picture you were thinking of?
No, it was the one of the blotch snake that in the grass, but it's too fuzzy. We're going to use rock.
I got it.
So here's this one. Which screen am I on? Hold on. Here we go. Oh, it helps if I unmute it.
That's so cool.
Love those long holds in the tongue telling you, hey, don't come near me.
Yeah.
Felt like Stanley yelling at some holes.
And then I've also got this next video. I just took a couple quick little clips, This next one is us going through where we found this snake. Oh, that's not it.
Still gorgeous.
Cell service was shit.
Yeah. Me and Phil use Verizon.
The bear on that one. We'll have to get there. The bear in this case being Phil.
All right.
Service there was no service.
Yes.
Right. Here's this one. And this is the same time where I think Eric had temp gunned the rocks next to our head, as we're walking through the convection oven. And it was like, what was like 104, like at midnight.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have asked him to stop doing that. Like if it was that hot, it's like, hey guys, it's 104 degrees. Please stop.
Well, we were just curious because it was just, it was so hot at that late at night.
Yeah, you could feel it coming off the rocks.
Like, it was like a radiant heat panel,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
It's crazy.
I tried to show the cliff face around us. I mean, the rocks probably went 20, 30 feet above our head. And you look at the terrain.
Deep in the canyon on that one.
There's these little pockets of water where there was tadpoles in it, right? And like
so that was the seep that was running down the whole deal. Yeah, what red spotted toad tadpoles that, man, I really anticipated that we'd see a Thamnophis or a Nerodia or something going in for a go. That Atrox was in the near vicinity, but not interested in that stuff. But yeah, I mean that's certainly the sort of thing that seemed very promising, and I'm sure they do. We just didn't happen to run into one. But honestly, I mean that would have been, in terms of that Atrox, that was one of my favorite, along with the whip snake, one of my favorites. But that could have gone sideways super quickly in the sense that at a run, if you knew where you were going, that's probably 80 minutes at best. And then I guess if you're really blasting that road, maybe you're 45 minutes from the spot where you could get cell service. So at best, you're talking to somebody 2 hours after a bite.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gnarly.
And that was the one we were also went back and forth as to if it was a Mojave or a Western.
Yeah, I mean, so
I've never seen one that light.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but the Mojaves, they have the two big scales, whereas the Atrox will have 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever small ones. So all the stuff we've seen, there was a whole range of things. Looking at the photos on all of them, I keyed out all the ones, save the last one that we didn't take pictures of on 349. That very last one, we didn't take any pictures, so I couldn't key it. But that was as classic Atrox as anything. So I think we just saw a whole bunch of Atrox. Some of which were closer to Mojaves than others.
That's insane.
I think that 349 was probably the one that I thought was closest to a Mojave.
The Calm 349, because we had three on there, 2 of which I have pictures of. Yeah,
the last one. Yeah.
There we go. Getting a gallon jug in. I like it.
So even piss warm water
point, relatively
down.
Yeah, that's what makes it refreshing.
To the point the chat we were having is like that whole bag is really just the extra flash and the RX-10. Like that's essentially all that's in there, and you're still porting that around. This Coleonyx was totally beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
At Rancherius. Yeah, that thing was amazing. And I got some photos of it that'll come up on the thing. Not in this context, but I'll post them up. Truly amazing, man. Doing the press in and all that.
That is
the more gorgeous. I think about it too is I look at the tail of this one compared to the tail from the other one, and they're completely different.
Oh,
it doesn't
they don't look alike at all.
No,
it doesn't
the
look like that's a reach
they don't look alike. Yeah.
Right.
That is insane.
Yeah, it was cool.
Oh.
That's a bunch of guys sitting around a table. So, yeah.
The trying to get all my ducks in a row here. Sorry, guys. Fumbling.
I just sent you a picture of that last, in case you didn't have it.
Okay. This is the same canyon we were just in, but in daylight, right as sun was falling.
We determined that that's the same species that we had found the first time.
Those particular artists just gets so blasted out, and they tend to have that midline striping and stuff. I think they're the same. They're just very different.
I got you.
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, because we saw another one that was like the exact same size as that one on the way out, and I tried to grab it, and I ended up busting my finger open on a bush or something.
cacti. Here, Smitty, throw up the video I got right now. So this is the same hills that we were walking into, but just in daylight. And just the colors, just
well, Phil can tell you, I had that Ocotillo break off into me, and then I had to break it into bits, and then pull that last one out. That was a solid inch and a half into me.
Yeah, it was definitely a three-handed job.
I was like, oh, yeah, this one ain't coming out. This will be fun. But yeah, I mean, so Chris's point in terms of the size, both the ones we saw were definitely juveniles, right? So Phil's first one, that was probably only a couple months old. And then even that second one was probably only double that, not mature animals.
Right.
But not that ghostly faded look. So I think they're both brevis.
Yeah, I would say they're both brevis.
Chris, we were going to call you or message you, but we didn't have service.
Yeah, literally. So where are we at in the timeline before I start pulling photos out my butt?
I think the only other thing I think we found later that night, I don't know if you guys, is another night snake. Justin found it as we were headed out. And then again, that next night, that was the one, I think we just did some cuts and stuff for a while. That's where
yeah, we did the Christmas
Justin
stuff
found that
coming up. Yeah,
he found that tantilla that's wrapped around his finger.
no,
right?
so that was
the
Sanderson.
11th.
Yeah, that was Sanderson second time.
Wasn't
I
that the
remember
next
that
night?
cut very well.
The 11th.
That was that would be the 11th. So
Right.
yeah, we're getting there.
Ah,
you
guys found that.
mentioned the Sanderson. Yeah, so this was a checkered garter at the stay in Alpine.
It was like, dude, it was straight up like 3 a.m. and I saw it going along the side of the house. I was like, oh, cool, Thamnophis, I'm going to bed. Like, just completely just kept going. I was like, I think I put it in the bucket.
Phil and I
was like,
went
there's
out
a garter out there.
For, what, 25, 30 minutes? We got some good out of that. But
I'm actually disappointed when you and I were doing that last walk around the property when we were having a beer. I regret not getting photos of those Texas tiger centipedes. I thought those things were super cool, and I was like, "Oh, we'll see another one," and then we wound up not seeing one. So next time, right?
It's weird, man. When I walked up on this thing, I was like, "What the hell's a Natrix doing in Texas?" And I was like, "Oh, wait a second,
what the hell is that doing here?"
Yeah, I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
it's hallucinating from the lack of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing things, but it was like 3 a.m. when that thing was out, which I thought was weird too.
It's super weird. I mean, they're a diurnal to crepuscular critter, so it's just because it's so warm that it's pushing them into the night. It's very strange.
I mean, if the day's 110 and the nighttime is getting to like normal Eastern daytime temperatures,
up there, it's a mild 99 to 102, man. No worries. You're 10 degrees less than on the river.
Daylight doesn't matter. Yeah.
We also found clouds.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I like clouds.
Some nice clouds.
I love clouds. Humor me.
And then the nighttime sky too. I mean,
big sky amazing. For sure. Get into the whole, all the
Milky Way, stars,
constellations, Milky Way, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We weren't really prepared for sky photography, but I tried to get this with the cell phone. That was the best I got.
That's actually not bad though, because I tried with mine and it was a joke.
It just doesn't do it justice, No,
not at all.
There's aliens watching us from somewhere out there.
Look at these guys.
Yeah, they can see our vests from all the way up there.
Of course, the one time I see a shooting star, no one's looking, and they just think I'm crazy.
Yeah, of course you did. Man. Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, has anyone been looking at the comment section? Chris Panshop is just owning this comment section.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Best garters in the country. That's
pretty cool.
I was kind of hoping to see one of the blackneck ones, but we didn't get that lucky,
I don't even know which one was that I stumbled.
So that was a checkered, a Martianus, But So I think that, Eric, to the point you were making, that if you're talking about the Tantilla, that gets us into that last Sanderson night where we had come back and we squatted on 3 Mile, but not before. We had gone to sup in Sanderson at the recommended bit, and the waitress had some crazy fake eyebrows and a gun, which was certainly something.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Why a gun?
Who the hell knows, man? But Phil, he's attuned to it. I just noticed. I was like, "Wow, you got some wacky ass eyebrows, bro." And then Schmitty is sitting there. She's like, "Nope, our chef. He's very particular. He won't let you order with no mushrooms. But I'm telling you, you just get it. You get the bacon burger, all this stuff." And he just looks at her like she's got 3 heads.
I misunderstood the question.
Wait. So the chef is like, no mushrooms in this place ever.
So they had a burger that had mushrooms and onions on it, and I was like, I just don't want the mushrooms and onions.
Okay,
not an option.
Not an option.
She's
getting the damn mushrooms and onions.
Integrity to let you not, have it as it is, but I'll offer you this other thing that's exactly what you're asking for, just with a different name. I'm just saying,
getting told by a woman with the slogan on the back of her shirt for the restaurant that says, "When he puts his meat in my mouth, I always swallow." I was like, "You're going to tell me I can't have mushrooms?"
This is problematic language on the shirt.
I'm sure it's on the Facebook page.
I was more distracted with the eyebrows and the gun.
Gun, yeah.
The gun thing to me is no big deal, and I'm sure for Phil it's the same way. It's like, it's gun.
The fact that she would look surprisingly shocked as she's shooting you,
Yeah,
I think there was like a.
Eyelashes. I guess to be clear, she had some sort of crazy eyelashes that were like an inch and a half off her face. It was definitely something. It was a look.
I think the difference in the burgers were like, one was like a 1/4 pound, whereas one was like 10 ounces, and I'm just like, I couldn't believe that like this chef is like such a renowned chef that his signature burger would, and I got the signature burger. And let me tell you, man, it wasn't anything to write home about. It wasn't like it was like, not Kobe beef getting served to you or some kind of, like truffle cheese and shit like that, where it has to be like very specific in the taste balance. But yeah, she was super upset. Yep.
I don't think she was upset as much as she was concerned.
Where'd you get that shot?
This is someone's Facebook page, but yes, that is the woman with the gun.
Much it.
Yes,
that's the woman with the gun. That's the exact gun. Yep. Not good for her.
Yeah.
Sanderson famous. What else do you want?
Right.
It was better than Penny's, that's for sure.
It was better than Penny's. Phil and I both got some enchiladas that were quite delicious.
Okay.
So no complaints there, but
the food all came at the same time.
The burger was good.
Okay. Maybe Penny's just needs a gun. Yeah.
It was just that Schmitty needed to say yes, and he was just like, I'm going to ignore the question. And
I was trying to process it.
I want what I want. No, just fucking no.
Just say yes, and we'll all move on. It's fine.
I think what was interesting about that specific town, right, is how much it seemed that a lot of like the local business really probably is supported by people herping in Texas. There,
most likely.
The people that were sitting behind us were herpers,
snake hunting. Yeah. It's pretty, again, to the same point of like, that's the sort of spot where the vest deal, being gringos and vests means everything relative to anything else, because that's defined June, July, and August. That's a huge influx to their economy.
Oh yeah. Herper's privilege.
Yeah.
Smitty, I threw the Tantilla picture up there.
He's giving us the same look he gave the waitress.
Yes.
I'm trying to find the damn shirt.
That was cool. That was a cool little snake.
I don't know how Doc saw that thing.
I don't know, man. He's got
eyes. I think he fits in the same box where we were seeing 2-inch long millipedes. And just walking along, you see that movement and you go for it. But it put up a fight. I got some photos that I'm really happy with, but I haven't put them up yet. So watch for those.
Cool, man.
Thing is tiny, man.
That's full grown, right?
No, so it is small. That's a baby. Well, probably last year's.
Last year's kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But they do eat termites and stuff like that. So
from that point, I think it's when I think Justin, you had stayed back, and me, Phil, and the doc and Rob kind of went. Yep.
Oh my God.
That's the. Did they all have guns? Like
everybody has a gun. Everybody has a gun.
Click on the photo of the gal.
It's Texas. Everyone has a gun.
I don't think that's her.
Okay,
no, that's not her.
So?
No, that's got to be her. It's the same gun.
No, that's not her.
It might be her just with no eyebrows.
It's part of the uniform. You come in, you get your shirt, and here's your gun. Yeah,
that's why I was. Yeah, that's not her.
Well, is it her, Eric?
He says no.
No, all right, okay.
It is not. That is not that girl.
All right,
that's the girl.
That is the one
person.
It is not.
All right. All right.
It's all problematic. We can all agree. Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sitting here talking about my Aatrox the entire time.
Yeah, so that was the last night of the trip. Was it the Aatrox night?
Well,
last night in Sanderson.
Last night in Sanderson. So we did the 3 Mile West cut. We squatted on that. Upset our folks who took an aggressive line on the commercialization of wild reptiles. Who were staying in the room adjacent to ours, who we had encountered several times before on our trip.
Literally everywhere.
So we kept running into them, managed to offend them multiple times, which I'm happy about. All good. And then we found 4 Aatrox that night, which is pretty
4
cool.
Aatrox, yeah. I have that I think is the most typical one of the trip.
Yeah, but super pretty. That's the one that I got that close up facial on. Through the bit there. I don't know if you can find that in the.
Yeah, it's my next photo. I'm trying to get this video up real quick.
Yeah, that was the night that I turned in early. Because you guys found the Aatrox, and that was the night of the flattened suboc, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right at the end.
Yep. Oh yeah. See, I don't know. I thought that first Aatrox we found that first night was more sort of the traditional, but
yeah, I would say this is more Mojave coloring, but and very chill
contrast.
So apparently what I was reading is that white band that's behind the eye sort of in Mojave's doesn't go past the lip.
Mm-hmm.
It's past the mouth. The back one ends, so it ends past sort of the jaw connection point. Also on the tail, it's going to end in white rather than ending in black. And the most, at least relative to the shots that we have, the most distinguishing feature is that it'll just have 2 scales between the supraoculars. 2 big scales, and Aatrox have several smaller scales, more than that. And you can see even in this photo that has a row of at least 4 scales in between there. And that, to me, that's the most legitimate distinguishing characteristic, where it's just like fundamentally those are Aatrox, and that was the case with all of them, even the Big Ben critter and all that. They were Aatrox, but all the range you can see in that area for sure.
What I think is also interesting is this photo, despite having us using a bunch of flash, the pupil is super dilated.
Yeah, that seems pretty tight.
Yeah. It's super rare to, I mean, like, kudos to you for getting these shots. You know what I mean? And like, just, it's rare to see, first of all, see an Aatrox face that close up, even when you own them at home. And second of all, like, to get the pupil like that it's phenomenal. It's a great shot. And there's this guy too. Now, this is not the same snake, right? This is a different snake?
No, this was the first one. This was
That
the
was
big
the
boy
first
who
one.
was out along the median.
Yes.
Super
He was
fired
very
up.
grumpy. You
Yes.
know,
Oh, yeah.
took one hook to it, and I said, Phil, I think we're gonna need you because Doc is super confident, but I want to get a picture of this thing, and if you don't bust your hump, then
Yeah.
we're not gonna get a picture.
Yeah, I didn't realize the severity of it, and I'm hauling my fat ass down the road. So,
I love how they pancake out like that.
oh yeah.
Yeah, this was the one that was hissing crazy, right?
Oh yeah, this is the one that was like growling, like it
Yeah.
would make
Yeah.
this thumping sound on the inhale. That's what it was.
Maybe it had an RI.
Yeah, who knows, man? Super cool though. I've never heard a rattlesnake
have.
growl.
It was being kept on too moist of a substance.
Yeah, right.
In a-
The
in a
asphalt.
critter
There
keeper.
hammocks in its area were causing a
Yeah,
problem.
it needs that. It needs a top hat. That's what cures our eyes and
Yeah,
rattlesnake.
yeah,
There you
there you
go.
We should have brought one with us, damn it. We had the
Should've.
tongs. Phil totally could have put one on there.
Send it
could've.
to Owen. He
I'll
would have
tell you
loved
what
that.
though, I'm glad I brought as many tools as I did because
Mhm.
you know, so
They did come in handy.
the one time I've ever not had, the one time I brought one snake hook with me is the time I snapped it in half. So I'll never do that ever again. But when in anticipation for this trip, I didn't know exactly what we were getting into. So I didn't know if I should bring tongs, if I should bring a field hook, if I should bring a 40, a 30, whatever. I mean, Lord knows I have a whole arsenal of snake hooks, but I decided to do this setup that I did, which worked out great because I had my personal hook. We had a field hook in case we had to flip anything. We had the M1 tongs, which Doc used to grab the blacktail over the hill, and then I had the travel hook from Venom Life Gear 2, which Rob basically exclusively used the whole trip, and that panned out great. You know, staging photos and stuff. So, kudos to Venom Life Gear for all of their amazing products.
Use the code THP at checkout. Get 10% off your order.
There it is.
It was a nice plug. Yeah, it was
Shameless.
good.
Just shameless.
Shameless plug. Love it. Great quality of people, great quality of equipment. So,
Yeah, they were nice hooks for sure. 100%.
and,
I'm just glad I found a suitcase that mine could fit in.
We got a Phil
Here's
question there if you want to highlight it.
So Chris
Yeah.
also asked, how were the ones that you found about rattling? He said, we see so many here in Southeast Texas that don't rattle much at all. Found a lot on AG land, agriculture land.
Yeah.
And
That was
then
the
how
that was
do
the
you
first
tell the
time.
sex?
I was gonna say that's the first time I've ever seen a rattlesnake with that curved tail, and that was actually the first time I've ever seen an Atrox not rattle. So, like Doc's, hypothesis of a genetic deformity or some kind of gene that's being bred haphazardly, I think it could be very viable hypothesis because I've never seen it, man. I've
Oh, I
looked
also wondered if it
hundreds
was
of
sick
Atrox.
because
Yeah, I
seeing,
mean, it was-
seeing one so the opposite of what we normally see.
Right,
I was like, there's got to be something wrong with it. Like it can't be. But I mean, the weight wise, it looked fine. Like body tone and everything seemed normal.
Yeah.
It's just odd.
And to speak on the sex determining visually, you can, if you've looked at enough rattlesnakes, certain species are way easier than others. Atrox, the blacktails, some of the eastern diamondbacks sometimes, even some of the West Coast stuff like Great Basins and black Arizona blacks, even tiger rattlesnakes. If you look at enough of them, you can kind of get an idea of the tapering of the tail in relation to the thickness of it. I would say that the majority of the snakes we found were male. I think there was a couple that were like definitively hennish. That, by the way, that's an old school rattlesnake term. Is if it's a female, they call it hennish or a hen. But yeah, it's tough too because it's defensive. So it's coiling its tail into itself. It's rattling the tail, vibrating it faster than we can physically see with our eye. So unless you get it to stop rattling and just kind of chill there for a minute, it's very hard to tell.
Cool.
Good old buzztails, boy.
Yeah, man.
So Eric,
I
does
actually-
that put us on that last night or last night? That was So then on the way home, right, there was the big sabak that had been hit, probably 4.5 foot, something like that. That was a bummer.
Yeah.
But I mean, on 90, you're just gonna get, I don't know. In some ways, it is what it is. It's not one of those, oh, we just missed it. It's like, you know, truckers are running through, 18-wheelers are running through that thing day and night, 24/7, 365. So that thing had probably been dead 12, 18 hours.
Yeah, they probably can't even see him as high up as they are.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even notice it.
I took this screenshot specifically because this is when we went to Del Rio for the Mexican food. And when we got out of the car, you know, I stayed outside to smoke a cigarette and all you guys went in the restaurant. Well, the minute I closed the car door, my phone made that weird, like, doo-doo-doo-doo. And I was like, what the hell is that? I look, it's Verizon Wireless. Welcome to Mexico. So I was like, all right, let me take a screenshot of this.
Oh, crap.
Because as far south as we had gone, I think this is technically the farthest south we went, right?
Yeah.
Del Rio? Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then last night we were up in outside Rock Spring. I mean, substantially to the east. It's in the Rock Springs municipality, but substantially to the east of there on some ag land. That pretty cool stuff actually going. That we saw some scorpions and deals, and Doc had seen another coach whip and all that stuff. So all good. And there's one road that looks super promising. There's some cuts that look super promising, but I think it's a whole different deal. Even 90 minutes to 2 hours east of 277, right? So you're kind of Loma Alta is probably not only the Alterna limit of the range, but it's also the limit of the range where wearing an orange vest and wandering around carries any merit at all. You know, after that, I think you're kind of on your own, and
it's a little too far.
The cuts don't work and all that stuff. And so we did some of that stuff, but to little effect. We did have Subway was supposed to be open in the stripes. It was not. So we got some roller food, which was
there's Owen walking.
A nice hearty supper. Yeah, this is so Owen Schmitty. It looks like you saved for the walk, but so that was the source of confusion.
My head's bigger.
That must be it. That's the only differences.
Certainly the effect that it creates on your otherwise stun-inebriated counterparts is pretty similar.
All I did was walk around and complain about chondros.
Here's some photos of the 3 Mile West cut, just so people can get an idea what we're working with.
Mm-hmm.
I do that.
Right, on Google Earth, it looks nice and small, but in reality, so we had fought. This was interesting, right? So to some extent, on these larger cuts, you have to have more than one person to, I don't know, quote, defend the cut, so to speak, and not have somebody try and poach the front of the back end. We had on Google Earth, right, if you're just looking at the road view, the street view, 3 Mile West does not look very substantial. But in reality, we had 5 folks who were out of visual distance line with one another, and that covered the whole deal. So that it's like, in reality, it's more than a one-person cut, because he couldn't even make it back and forth, you know, to see anything that wouldn't just wander away. And so it makes sense from that perspective. But even with 5, that probably wasn't enough. Whereas if you look at that on Street View, you'd say like, oh, that's nothing. And it's, to me, again, as a planner of herp trips, I know a future field herping podcast, Nipper and I are going to go through the weeds on this one, is that like the incentive, right, is to over plan so that you're ready, which actually wound up being super helpful for this trip, right? It turned out after we ran through the lost mine bit and wore everybody out, it was good to have options, but also to not necessarily be totally loyal to the plan and say, okay, with where we're all at, this is what we're going to do. It makes a ton of sense. In the same way, when you're doing these cruising bits, it's like, it's always this over-planned, oh, we're going to go here, here, and here. I know even that night with the 2400 and 349, you know, my initial plan called for another hour and a half of driving, and Phil just said, I want to turn toward home.
Yeah.
Well, and it was like, no, man, we got to hit this.
Make it stop.
The best part. And he's like, we have to go back. Like not even go back, but we have to turn toward the direction where we're heading back.
Exactly. I didn't want to be a total party pooper, but I was like, listen, there's going to be 15, 20 more cuts on the way home. let's just start going that way, you know?
Right.
And what? It was still 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning before we went to bed.
What's funny is I learning how Rob thinks, right? God bless him. Is I know he's like, yeah, we're just gonna take a short drive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. And I
No.
look like when we got back to the hotel, I was like, let me look exactly where we went, because obviously I'm driving, I see street signs and city markers and county markers, and I'm like, we did 186 miles that night.
The width of South Carolina.
Short
like,
drive my ass.
Yeah, it was like 186 miles in like 2 hours. You know?
Yeah.
So it was awesome, man. Adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Oh yeah.
I did enjoy it. I was also
And then,
very
so
much glad to be
just
back in my bed.
around the circle, right, would be that Phil. So we go to this last place. It's outside Rock Springs, and somehow both Doc and I have. So we have Android, and our cell service for kind of the first time in the trip is perfect. And it winds up being that the Verizon tower in this area was down, and so both Eric, Schmitty, and Phil are out of service.
Yeah.
And somehow the Wi-Fi is all messed up, either associated or not with this issue.
That router doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever. But so Doc and I are like, oh, it's all cool, man. What are you complaining about? And so we're doing that. And whereas Verizon typically is totally fine. But I guess it wasn't that Verizon doesn't service that area. There was some specific issue that was causing problems just around the circle.
It was tied in with the subway. They were closed too. So.
Oh God! Well, the subway.
It's supposed to be open until 10 o'clock. Clearly, it closed at
the tower's on top of the subway. Is what happened.
I think that was the trip.
It was closed in the sense it was never open.
Yeah. Mrs. Baird's Donuts.
This is the only Bairds we found.
Oh, oh, it pierces the heart. Yeah,
they were delicious.
So was the melted
the liquid Reese's. Yeah.
Liquid Reese's.
Oh yeah. Talk about problematic photos. Oh my goodness.
Who doesn't love Reese's? You just pour and then that's it.
No, this is like some different bar situation.
He had a fast break.
Shoving into his mouth. It was troubling. At best.
Quite the skill to drive and eat that melted fast break. But man, it made this car smell so good.
Just poke a straw in the wrapper, and just
we were all jealous.
Check the contents, no worries.
But yeah, it was a good time for sure, definitely. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a hard time readjusting back to normal life.
Yeah, I can't manage. It's been so hard these past couple days. Oh wait, right. So.
Yeah, I mean, Owen, how he's readjusting is total.
It's hard. It was hard.
Question to us all.
Well, I mean, damn, Stone got back home before I even left San Antonio.
That happens a lot where Rob Stone's like, back at home, kicking up with a beer.
Yeah,
and
he's
you're
like,
still
it was
traveling.
fun, guys.
Yeah.
So I do have a story for the end of the trip. So my plane is delayed, as both I think everybody but Rob's plane was delayed, and people were moving flights and switching flights or whatever. So I get to it's two stories that kind of screwed me up. I have like this. I think I had a 2-hour layover, right, which then shrunk down to an hour layover.
I told you were bitching at me about the 2-hour layover, man. Did it work out for you?
Yeah. But there's a little bit of a story to it. Thank God I was hustling all week and hiking and whatnot, because it really paid off in this situation that I was in. But they switched the gate on me, right? So I get off at the B gate, right? And I get off, and they say that my flight is at the I think it was the E. E, which was basically on the other side.
Right.
So I had to get on the train and go around to the other side, and get on the train, go to the other side, get off, walk quite a distance to get to the gate. I get to the gate, and they switched it again, and they switched it back to B.
Back where you go back where you came from.
Right where I got off. Yeah. And I was like, God damn it. So then I get back on the train, and I must have got the train. I don't know. Somehow I got on the wrong one, and I had to go entirely around the loop again. So I had just made it. I think they were boarding in 10 minutes when I pulled up for the flight for Philadelphia. And then so it's okay, whatever. I made it. Everything's cool. I'm just gonna get on the plane and try to sleep or whatever. So I get on the plane. They're trying to make up time because I don't know, something happened. So the flight was delayed an extra hour or so. So turns out that I didn't have to rush to it, but whatever. We land in Philadelphia and something happened with our bags and they,
oh God,
we go, oh, and you'll know this, we get to the spot where you go to pick up your bags, the bag claim area. Right. But apparently somehow our bags made it into the international bag claim area. So the guy comes out and he says, well, listen, the problem is your bags are in the international thing. So you're going to have to go back through security, back through the thing, which would basically take another hour. So now it's like 1:30 in the morning at this point. And I'm like, what the hell? Well, you know, in true Philadelphia style, we do not accept that. That is not an answer. That is not going to work. So everybody sort of just walked out in one big group and walked down the pathway and then walked into the international section. God. And there was our bag sitting on the floor in the middle of this in this spot. So yeah,
that's fabulous.
So I think I ended up getting home about 2:30 in the morning because once I got home, then I have an hour drive to get back, and you know, oh man. So
I almost got stuck in San Antonio an extra day because
really?
my flight got pushed back, and so then by the time that one was supposed to be getting into leaving DFW was when I was supposed to be landing. And so they were like, well, we have some flights tomorrow. And then the lady, I guess, worked her. I need to go and like hunt down a feedback form or something because this lady freaking saved my life, man.
Right.
She worked her magic. And somehow instead of me going from Dallas to Savannah, I went from San Antonio to Charlotte to Savannah and got home at like 1:30. Yeah, I don't know how she did it because she was like, I don't really have anything. And then for whatever reason, I guess something clicked and she did her little keyboard wizardry and I was out of there. But I had to do the same thing. I had to go to the other end of the airport, the other terminal, go through security again, which that wasn't that bad. Like security at all the stops that I was at was in and out in like 15 minutes.
Oh yeah,
there's nothing.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just love how the Philly guys like you have to go back through security. Like that was going to work at all with people that like had just landed at 1 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't care what airport that is. That is a riot about to happen. And you get a card and you bring the shit to where these people are.
Like, he saw the mutiny about to happen, so he quickly just sort of like said, "Okay, whatever, do what you want to do."
Oh, okay, or you can just walk out the door and go.
That works too. Bye. Thank you for flying. Like, no.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess to your point, Rob, you know, like when you're booking these flights and stuff, I guess it's best to know the airport that you're flying into and how big it is and how you move from gate to gate and all this stuff. So, you know, give yourself some cushion and stuff, you know, because when you're, I don't know, to Rob's point, when I was booking it, I was like, oh man, I got a 3-hour layover. What kind of bullshit is this? And yeah, it's turned out to be all right. So,
yeah, that's how it was for me. I got to Charlotte. I was like, great, I'm going to have like an hour or so. I'm going to get something to eat, you know, and I'll have some time. Like, no, like Charlotte Airport was absolutely insane. It was packed.
Yeah.
And I landed and I was rushing to because my gate once again was at the other side of things. And I was doing the same thing. I was power walking through that bitch, man.
It's a good thing that Eric and I we figured this out the first time we traveled. He and I are very much the same. We like to be in our gate, sitting, and then now we know where we're at. Now we can go get a soda. We can get a sandwich in the little area around our gate. Yeah. We don't care if the plane that is being loaded right now is actually 4 planes before ours. We know exactly where we are.
Right.
My younger sister is the kind of person where like they're calling her over the loudspeaker because they're about to steal the doors, and she just arrived at the airport, and that gives me such goddamn anxiety that if I ever travel with her, I'm like, hey, I'll meet you there. Like, I don't even want to know what plane you're on. Please don't pick the one I'm on, because if I'm sitting in my chair and they're calling from my sister, I'm gonna have anxiety. Like, no. The fact that Eric is like, I got there and it was 10 minutes before boarding. I'm like, oh God, 10 whole minutes before boarding. It's cutting way too close.
Yeah, it was too close, man.
Yeah,
too close.
No.
But all good.
I had time to kill because I dropped you guys off, right? And the rent-a-car had to be back at noon, but my flight wasn't until 5:30. So I was like, well, what the hell am I going to do? So I said, you know what? I'm a Western junkie. I'm going to go see the friggin' Alamo. right? So I tried to get Schmitty to come with me. I'm actually glad that Schmitty didn't because it was a total friggin' letdown. So in my mind,
and I said no for the same reasons that Owen was talking about parking it in your gate and staying there.
Yes,
nothing can happen to where I'm going to be late for that flight if I'm just waiting at the door.
Right, exactly. Nope, nothing. I have to.
I was surprised. I was surprised, Phil. I thought Schmitty would go with you, and he was like, "Nope."
Well, dude, I was tired. I was like, I didn't want to get on my plane and I want to go home, man.
See,
like
but
Alamo's cool and all, but it's a bunch of bricks to me. There's nothing.
I didn't
look a wall of a church. All right,
but it's different though. When you're sitting in the terminal for like an hour or two, it's no big deal. I had like 4 or 5 hours to kill,
right?
And I was like, this is rough. So
it was a big range. Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, the Alamo's 12 minutes away. I still have to rent a car. I'm gonna go see the friggin' Alamo. So in my mind, I've got visions of John Wayne playing Davy Crockett on top of the Alamo with a musket,
Ozzy peeing in the corner somewhere.
Right. And I get there and I get off the highway, and what I'm about to say, I don't want this to discourage any of the listeners from going and seeing one of America's treasures. What I'm about to say is specifically for the city of San Antonio, and it is to fix your shit. Because when I got off the highway, it was nothing but tent city. Just homeless as far as the eye could see. And I come around and it's downtown San Antonio. I thought it was like on the outskirts, like in the bush, in the desert. No. It's in downtown center city.
No, the town built up the city built up around the damn thing. So,
Right. So I get there and I was like, I'll just do a flyby. I'm not going to park because there's parking everywhere. Alamo parking, $15 here, $20 there. And I'm like, I'm not parking. I'm just going to drive by, take a cell phone picture, say that I saw the friggin' thing, and keep going. But you can't because there's so many thousands of people walking around that they close the streets off. So now I'm like, well, this is stupid. So I kind of like looked out the side of my window. I'm like, oh, that's the top of the building. Oh, man. And it is literally encrusted in black soot, like black soot and algae. And I'm like, they couldn't clean it? It's a national treasure for crying out loud. So when I was sitting in the airport, depressed and angry about it, I went on my phone and I typed in, Alamo. And this is the picture that came up. I'm going to share it with you guys. So this is what I envisioned in my mind, to be honest. A modern day
Phil got
Alamo.
Catfished by a national monument.
Yeah,
I did, right?
Yep. Listen, everybody gets catfished by a national monument. Mount Rushmore ain't that big. Like, it's all that kind of stuff. Like, you go there and you're like, oh.
So here's the Alamo, and this is what I envisioned. I envisioned the grass. I envisioned the flag. You know what I mean? And yeah, the building has got some wear and tear. It's a couple 100 years old, but like the blue skies, the pretty grass, all that. And then this is what I came to.
Yeah,
and like, yeah, literally. And like, you look at like the buildings behind it, and like, I didn't even get this view. I just got like the top of like the hump of the building because of all the crap around it. But this picture is from 2020. So,
so you didn't even take that picture? I thought, okay.
I did not.
Those are coronavirus
best
crowds.
Case scenario.
Yeah, these are coronavirus crowds where this is yeah.
Are we sure the tent city people weren't just like reenactors?
They
definitely not.
Yeah,
definitely not. Yeah. So
I almost feel like you'd enjoy the movie set of the Alamo more than you would the actual Alamo. So
100%, 100%. Yeah. So that was depressing. And after that, I went and got Burger King and returned the car. And then they told me that there were dents in the car. And I was like, listen, I was camping in the desert. There is a scratch and dent plan. I'm not paying for body work. They're like, well, we're just going to file a claim with your insurance. I said, no, you're not. I'm going to call Visa. And they're like, well,
what is that going to do?
Let me talk to my superiors real quick.
What is Visa going to do about it?
Visa's going to do their own little claim thing. Visa's going to pay them $200 and make it go away.
Wow.
So they didn't want to hear that. So I wound up arguing with the guy, and I'm like, listen, man, I'm not mad at you. You're doing your job, but they're too little dents. I didn't do them. It probably was there beforehand. And here's the kicker, is that when the woman looked up the history of the vehicle, she said that there were 2 dents on the front driver's side and this was the rear passenger side. So she's like, hey, they probably made a mistake. The guy probably just put the wrong panel, and it was this whole big thing. So now I basically had to sign an affidavit saying that I refused the claim and blah, 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 blah. So we'll see what happens. I'm not worried about it.
Have Owen handle it for you.
Say that this is their perpetual scam, and they just try and hoax folks for it all the time. It's like the Airbnbs that have the couch that will collapse upon itself if you push it a certain way, and then they charge everybody for the couch, but then they just pull it out the same way. It's no big deal. It's a known scam.
I was looking for a little old lady with a golf ball in her hand.
Hey,
who just
man,
smacks it.
Shout them out. What's the car rental company?
Enterprise.
Yep. And guess
Enterprise people. Very good.
I guarantee
Enterprise
you,
San Antonio.
You're still probably going to see a claim because they'll end round you right to your insurance company and file it for you. So don't be shocked.
Okay.
Owen knows because this is what he deals with all the goddamn time.
So it's all moot, man.
Should have just bought the van, man.
Even if he paid it, that's just the deductible or whatever the hell. They're still going to bill the company for the repairs to the vehicle and paint job that costs about $1,200.
How about we all go after Owen as the insurance man in this call?
This is what happens all the time. So please, God, kill me.
I was even trying to figure out how it would have happened. Like
it didn't, Phil.
It did.
Yeah. It wasn't from your hardcore breaking.
Don't even waste the time.
You're right. You're right. Thank you. You're right. Oh man,
you were like a 9-year-old woman on the brakes. Couldn't have been that.
Savage.
Damn.
Literally, these individuals people who are listening and watching.
You couldn't catch a break, man.
These people in this vehicle, I love them dearly like family, but they are the worst fucking backseat drivers you've ever heard.
Hey, you didn't hear a peep from me, man.
That is true. That is true.
I think like 80% me.
Because nothing drives me more crazy than backseat drivers.
That's a maniac. Like we've been through it. It's terrifying.
You gonna pack that guy?
So yeah, I think what Doc's thing is, right, is because like the last trip he drove the entire trip, not because of anything other than he likes to drive. So I think he was getting a little anxious, not being able to drive, not having that thing. So
yeah, I understand it. Yeah, I understand it.
On that note, though, when you shout "stop," like 5 people in unison say "stop the damn car," and you just keep going.
Yeah, because I can't hear you guys.
I'm sitting right next to you.
No. Because,
got it.
No. So when Smitty says that he's yelling "stop," it's like this. It's like "stop." Stop, bro. Stop. Meanwhile, the guys in the back, I can't hear anything because they got the radio on, they got the air conditioner on. I can't hear them.
Rob and Justin are going, stop! They're trying to get out of we're all trying to get out of the car, but it's like parent locks
stupid
or whatever.
Child locks, yeah.
They're locked in because it's the van. Oh my god.
But it's like, let's stop at this cut. And then it's like, yep, that cut that we just passed. That was the one.
Couldn't hear you guys.
And that's just sort of the nature of the beast, though, man. I remember when we went with Keith to Australia that it's like everyone was ribbing me because I was like, I don't even know what I said, but Keith was driving. I was like, evidently, I had a string of choice words. It was like, Keith, stop the car. And he was like, literally between the time you started talking and ended talking, I know for me, it felt like 2 minutes, and in reality, it was 5 seconds.
No, that wasn't the case this time. It was like straight up. We just passed it.
Oh my god. Well, did we miss anything, boys?
No,
we covered it
all, man.
Yeah.
All the
good stuff. It was a good trip.
So, how many miles did we end up walking, Phil?
The ballpark was like 37, 38 miles ballpark.
So you guys had 37, 38. Doc had 62. I think for the most part, we're probably in that 50 to 55 range.
Yeah.
Over 7 days.
3,000 miles on the van. Man.
Yeah, it was I think 3386 on the van. Let me look. Hold on, I have it.
Crazy. He has the form. They sent it to him in a PDF.
Yeah, the final one was 3,368 miles from when I picked it up.
Yeah, man.
Right. So what? We went 600 more than 600 miles a day driving on average, and we hiked something like 6, 7, 8 a day.
Yeah, at least 10 border checkpoints, and at least pulled over at least 9 or 10 times.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Only one was a warning.
Yeah, only one was a warning. Yeah.
One of them was an actual traffic stop.
The written warning. That was something, man.
I had to hold back.
He was embarrassed.
You know that scene of Super Troopers when he's like, you know how fast you're going? He's like 55. Yeah, you were. Like that funniness. The guy's like,
that's the speed limit. Yeah.
Yeah. He says, do you know how fast you're going? I said 55. He goes, yeah. And I was like, isn't that the speed limit? He goes, here it is, but back there it's not. It's 45. I was like, 10 miles over. You're gonna
in the middle of nowhere where there's no other cars for like 40 miles.
Mass danger to people.
Right.
Yeah.
A van.
But you're gonna be the nice guy and give me the warning. Oh,
yeah,
good for you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Good times.
Did y'all have anything happen like when you got as far as collections go when you got back? Because I had those corns hatched while I was gone. I didn't know if y'all had anything else happen with your stuff while you were out.
No. My wife fell in love with blue tongue skinks.
Nice.
Oh
that's a slippery
God.
Slope.
She would. It's like a scaly dachshund.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's yeah. It's
what I
Roxy,
said,
but with
100%.
scales. Yeah.
Yep. Dude, she loves this thing. Oh my God. She says, can I name it? I was like, yeah, you can name it, but I'm not going to call it that.
Get her a top hat for it.
Yeah. Monocle.
She wants to, and she likes the Ackies too. She did grow to like them as well. So, but all good.
I want to go back and I definitely want to look at Big Ben more. That was, as far as like places we went, that was the coolest. Just the different.
It's a cool spot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Definitely have to go back. And like so many places I've herped, and it was like, wow, that was a lot of fun, but I don't need to go back. I need to go back to West Texas.
Yeah, and like so much stuff we didn't find, you know.
So much stuff.
So much diversity. You
and
can't
I feel like
cover it all in one trip.
Yeah, I want to go west more. I want to hit El Paso. I need to go to Franklin Mountain. I need to physically see it with my own eyes, you know. So maybe that'll be the next one.
Yeah, man. Oh, and this time you'll go.
I will attempt. I'm hoping
it's even more gnarly, bro.
I would love to not be working for this.
There's nothing that says you have to go to work. They just say if you don't, there's consequence.
Right, like not being able to pay bills. Like
they give you like 30 days to pay those anyways.
Right.
You got time.
You just put it on a credit card. It's not real money anyway.
Right. So I would love to. I'm definitely going to make the one in October. And then after that, I'm hoping that I won't be working for this company anymore, and I'll figure it out from there. So
it's a good plan. It's a good plan.
Okay.
It's a great plan. Right. If somebody would just open up the damn Serpentarium in Philadelphia, I could have a job there.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah, do it.
I get right.
Yeah, do it. Just do it.
One rule. No PTO.
Are overrated.
It's that, or just hire me as his hype man at the grocery store. I'll punch it. I'll punch an old lady that's stealing cans. Yeah. Door greeter, get your shit and get the fuck out.
Yeah. Eric Burke said, "Grab your shit and leave."
Said, "Get your shit and get the fuck out."
That's right.
Do you know who he is? Do you know who he is?
Have you heard NPR? Yeah.
That's what I kept telling Doc to say. I was like, dude, if anyone asks, like, be like, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
You know those books you like so much that you've read?
I'm a massive author. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was. I really enjoyed hanging out with him though too. Having not really, other than having him on the show that one time, you know, it was like realizing that he's probably one of the goofiest dudes that I've ever been around. You know, and us just dying like in tears because of him in the car, man. Just
he was the comic relief of the trip, hands down.
Yeah.
Christian.
Oh, Christian. Christian.
Yes, sir, Teets.
And the fact that it just morphed into that over the week of us just all speaking in German accents.
But the problem is that I'm pulling up to the border checkpoint, and there's canine guys and SWAT guys with their guns and shit. And I roll the window down, and all of a sudden you hear Doc in the back goes, "Hello."
Oh God!
Guten Nacht, Herr Borderman.
No.
And they say, "What country are you from? What's your
No.
They ask country of
as to what country do you claim citizenship, sir? And my reply was the United States of America. And Schmitty goes, America.
I was asleep, dude. I was asleep, and then you rolled up on that, and it was like I was totally half asleep when he asked that question. So
nothing beats us walking down the cut, and all of a sudden, like, you don't hear anything, and then you hear Rob go, "Hey!" And it was like, "What you got?" He goes, "Oh, we have the Nachschlagen."
Oh God!
The Nachschlagen. Yeah.
Was ist los, Nachschlagen? Was ist los?
It's squeezing all over me.
There's so much squeeze.
What I should have done with the Border Patrol guy was just stare at him like I did the waitress, because I just didn't understand the question.
Oh God.
Why isn't he saying anything? He's a mute, sir.
Yeah.
Very big mute. Just let him go.
He's just
the best.
He's not all there.
The best one was we're driving down the One Valley Road where we found the horn toads, and out of nowhere, this Border Patrol truck whips around the corner, skids to a stop right next to us. The guy leans out, and he was literally the
Indian.
Well, no, he was the stereotypical hardened Mexican American, cowboy hat, the Chips aviator sunglasses, and he leans out and he goes, "Y'all the ones that called in the jumpers?"
No.
And we're like, "No." He's like, "Well, have you seen any?" I was like,
No.
He goes, well, if you do, you call us. Burn.
He didn't even give us a number to call. He's just like,
right.
So
and
we
what do I call?
There's
two
no
nights
service.
before. I recognize. I was like, "Oh, we saw you did the same." Not in the context of these two guys, but he had done the same semi pullover 2 nights before.
Oh, that's right.
I
It was the
recognized
same
him.
guy.
I knew him.
Yeah. So meanwhile,
again.
this guy drives off, and literally, what was it, 150, 200 yards down the road?
Yeah.
We see
sleeping under a tree.
Yeah, we see two Mexican
Well, the one
guys.
jumps out.
Yeah, and he starts waving his arms.
I mean, it was
trying to flag us
more
down.
like a couple miles, but I hear you.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, a couple miles. But yeah. And I was like, that's
And then
crazy.
one of the guys jumps out, and the other, then we slow enough.
Phil actually slowed the car
to see
down.
the
as
other
if we were
guy
actually
hanging
gonna
out
do
under the
something.
tree and all, and it's like, "Oh, hey, you're the guys that got called in. Okay, cool."
Should have rolled down the window and been like, "Yo, they're looking for you. Y'all better run, man."
Yep.
Jeez.
And then we did nothing and continued on our way, as is our one.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, who are you going to call? There's no service anyway. Fucking Verizon.
I mean,
true story.
Yeah, it's all good. Don't have to get
Probably had
involved
a bag
either way,
full of
man.
horned toads.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no service. There's no road signs. Go 3 miles from where you start seeing horned toads, and then you'll see 2 dudes.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yep.
Yep.
Good times, guys. Good times.
Yeah, man.
100%.
Owen, we're glad you could join us.
We are.
For this part.
on the trip.
For this part. Oh, yeah, I could.
You were there in spirit.
Look,
we were
only
making
could.
fun of your expense the entire time, just so you
Of course, I know. It's given. It's given. I bet you Eric was the worst of it too. Like, it would be silent. He goes, and another thing about Owen, and it's like, ah, yeah.
Well, what's funny is he actually had a lot of good things to say about you, but I can't tell you
not
that.
true. That's not true.
I didn't remember any of
It's
them.
not
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I was walking the trail and they were telling me to walk like a duck.
Ow.
Well, look at the bright side.
Savage. Smitty
I
with
don't
the
get
subtle
it.
savage all the time.
Ow.
Like, I don't understand.
Oh,
Give me
and
a
I'm
species
telling
you want me to complain
he-
about.
Justin looks exactly like you from behind. Like, I mean, it's literally uncanny how much you
All right,
two look alike from
I
behind.
understand. Well, all right, I get it. I know that you had to take the Hydrox on the trips because you couldn't have the Oreos. It's okay. So
oh, that's good. That was good.
Oh, yeah, I like
It's a
that.
Hydrox.
you wouldn't know.
Ah,
Pushing back. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see where this goes.
what I was going to say
Yeah.
is, look on the bright side, Owen. It had to take 2 of us just to fill your spot.
Yeah. Like, at least tell me there were Simpsons quotes flying around at least half the time.
The whole
Oh
time.
yes, Doc and I were
God
going at
damn
it.
right. Good.
Much to Schmitty, Phil, and Eric's chagrin, they were all sitting there going, "We've all made terrible life choices that put us in this position."
No, that's what I said at the top of the mountain.
Well, I think if it wasn't,
I think Rob was very
And that
close
was
to just
before
pushing
the
me over
bear.
the edge because I think he was really tired
Yeah.
of me because I was complaining the entire way. I was like, I don't even know why I'm just not stopping. Like, why am I just
No,
why?
I was much closer to just dragging your ass and just saying
He's like a drill
okay,
instructor,
just lay
man.
down and I'll drag you. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
well, I think if it wasn't a German accent, it was definitely Mr. Burns the entire time.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. But Owen, you, I think Rob and Justin were sort of lost without you supporting their Simpsons.
We were going in
and
head
all that kind of
first,
stuff.
and then the rest of the crew was just sitting there, literally
Shallow water.
silent, just literally silent, and saying, "Okay, we will give them no feedback. Maybe they'll stop." And
Nothing.
If
No.
we wouldn't
No.
stop.
No. If
I enjoyed the moon pie.
If there's no
the moon pie.
feedback, it just gets worse. And the problem is that now every time you see a moon pie, you're just gonna be like, "What a time to be alive!" Like, and that, and you do that
I went
no
to
matter.
the bathroom with Prostilicus.
Yeah.
And the problem is, like, you get there, and I'll be in like Cabela's, and they'll have moon pies, and I'll be like, "What a time to be alive!" And I'll send the picture to Rob, and it's the good things that kind of keep everything going. It's like herping trips need these fun, stupid, goofy 3 a.m. Dear God, why am I still awake? Types of humor that when you get back and you try to explain people why it was so funny, you end up sounding like a crazy person.
Yes.
So yeah,
Christian?
Yeah.
Exactly. I have no fucking idea what that means.
Teats?
Yep.
Good stuff, man.
It sounds like it was a blast. I am forever pissed that I missed it. And parts like it, and it's almost like I feel like I wanted to leave this job, and then when I couldn't go herping, I'm like, fuck this place. it roller coastered after that. So yeah,
No, I'm really not fucking staying.
now I'm really not leaving. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh man. And thank God we got cooling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Marilahitas making sure the store's stocked up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta do it.
Clay Henry.
So
That's right. Cool.
well, gentlemen, do we have any closing remarks?
I'm never going up a mountain again with Rob.
Never say never. Those are dangerous
never
words.
for life.
That is you don't know.
It was one gigantic sick joke because Burke knew what was going on. Julander knew what was going on. Me and Phil were just lambs being led to the slaughter, man. Like, it'll be a nice 30-minute walk, no big deal. I won't bring water. I'll just have my lone bottle.
Yeah.
Everyone else has gallons, and I didn't even once question that.
You will next time.
Yeah, right.
Lesson learned.
I said it was 2 each way, and then it wound up being 3. Next thing you know, it's 100 degrees, and you've gone 6 miles. What do you want?
Yeah, Schmitty, it is also your fault. Like when you're looking around and everybody's packing for like desert gear
You
and
didn't even
stuff
have
like
a backpack.
that. Yeah, exactly. You're like everybody's packing for like survival desert gear, and you're wearing like snow camouflage. Something is wrong. Okay.
My entire notion of what the trip was all going to be about was completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I packed accordingly.
No.
Yeah.
Next time we'll bring you a scooter and you can just kind of cruise around behind it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Bring it to me. Yeah.
I think my closing thing would be like, again, everybody knows how much I love Australia, and Rob and I and Owen and Keith and whatnot of doing trips and getting them cut out and all this stuff leads you to sort of herp in your own backyard. And, West Texas didn't disappoint again for the second time. So it's a really cool place. Especially if you want to go and look for reptiles,
It's magical.
do some homework.
Yeah.
And you'll find some stuff, it makes me want to it makes me think, what else am I missing out in the US or North America or whatever?
Bear dreads.
So, yeah, for sure. And I have a new fascination with rattlesnakes. That's for sure. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I think that's you have to be, if you're American and you're not like fuck yeah rattlesnakes, then you're just a communist.
Something's wrong with you. Yeah.
yeah.
Man, that's not okay.
Well, I've always enjoyed them, but you know,
Just go to
we
North
have
Korea.
basically timbers. You know, we have one type. You know, but when you
Timbers
start
are
to see
nice.
all these variations of, well, I mean, it was basically an Atrox, but you know, still very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Those
Hey,
make
man,
it fun.
I've only got.
I think it helped too having Phil because you know Phil being a venomous guy, even you, Justin. You know, it's, it was a different experience than not being there with venomous guys, if you will.
Yeah, man, 100%.
So, good times.
I agree. I totally agree. So, Rob,
I think that's all great, man. I appreciate you guys coming. I think it was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. I know the next trip's going to be great too, and it's always kind of iterative, right? We learn something, we have great experiences, and then we try and take that and incorporate it into the next one, where same spot, next spot, whatever it is, and have a great time and do all that. But Schmitty did a thing. Phil did most of a thing. Saw some bears.
As much as like complain, I appreciate that you did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all good, man. Ton of fun.
Stone is
Phil
my
and I were
hero.
chatting through a bunch of stuff and all that. It was fit. So Schmitty did a thing in terms of Lost Mine. Phil did a thing in that every night he was staying up with me, having a brewski or whatever, and having a cigar and to chat and whatever. So that, I mean, heck, if you're sleeping more than 3 hours, you're doing it wrong. No worries.
I didn't get that memo either.
What? I mean, what do you think this was going to be like a vacation? Jesus.
Yeah,
come on.
I mean that was kind of what I.
No, this is a tactical mission. Not for the faint of heart.
No one.
It's
told
true.
me.
It's very true.
All right.
Yeah, I have a much better appreciation for the stuff that lives out there. And then once again, sort of just reinforces the whole like species here in our own backyard are just as cool as stuff across the globe. Like Coleonyx geckos, like, yeah, the ones like hearing Chris talk about them had me interested in them, but actually seeing them in the wild and being like, that's a freaking leopard gecko. And we have it right here at home, and the horn lizards and, the Atrox and stuff are awesome too. But just like I said, the terrain, the variation in habitats and stuff and whatnot is just, it's awesome that it's right here. You don't have to travel thousands of miles to get to it, or across the globe to get to it. It's right there.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm eternally grateful for the NPR crew inviting us to come along, man. Like, legit adventure of a lifetime. And not to sound like a fangirl, but like, you get to hang out and herp with people that you look up to. And like, and you fangirl over it. It's awesome. We
said that multiple times. We're like, dude, we're cruising in Texas with Eric Burke, Rob Stone, and Dr. Julander.
Legit. I brought my knobtail, my complete knobtail gecko book, and I was like, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. Like, don't ask for an autograph. Don't be that guy. And I was like, hey Doc, you want to sign my book? He's like, yeah, sure, bring it on.
Yeah.
You wrote, Dear Phil, go fuck yourself.
Dear Phil, stop staring at me.
It's like, it actually said,
stop collecting locks of hair off my pillow.
I see you.
It said, the opening line is, it said, because he wrote me a whole paragraph, God bless him. He says, Phil, it was a great time hanging out with you. Don't pack that guy.
It's like when Eric signs stuff, when people ask us to sign, me and Eric to sign thing, Eric writes like a whole paragraph and I just write ditto Owen like underneath. Like, it is, I'm terrible at that crap.
But it's so fitting.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, it's perfect. That's exactly,
But yeah, man, it was awesome time hanging out with you guys and Doc, and like learned so much that I had no idea. Like snakes I didn't know existed. Like just
Nightschlagen,
right? And I will throw out a selfless plug. A company called Vertex Gear that specializes in like tactical clothing and backpacks. They outfitted me with bag and shirts and pants and shorts and gloves and everything. So if you guys are interested in some, cold weather, hot weather, humid weather clothing and bags and packs and stuff, or the stuff that we did on this trip, definitely check out Vertex Gear. So
preferably don't get it in black, because that
don't get it in black.
Well, that's just silly.
Yeah.
So,
Considering pretty much every shirt I packed was a dark color or black.
And what have we learned?
Yeah,
White is much more comfortable. Get
Okay,
a horn lizard shirt from the store at Big Bend, and you will be much more comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
All right.
man.
All right. Everyone have a good evening.
Yep.
You too.
Yeah.
We
Good night, guys.
will see y'all later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.